butterfly perch 15 feet high. Oh my God.
Like every Monday night, you are checking out Breakfast Super Raw.
Bon appetit, as Don, Tony, and Mish dish out their opinions about the world of pro wrestling, sports, news, and pop culture. Breakfast Super Raw.
And now, your host, Mish and Don Tony.
You know, Morocco used to call Snuka a monkey back then. Good evening, everyone. 15 feet high. Please, WWE. Well, first, I'm Don Tony. He is
Anthony Missionary Thomas. What's going on, everyone?
Hey, high definition, Anthony Missionary Thomas.
Yes.
Kind of boosting up the upgrades a little bit. Look, I got to say this right off the bat. I understand WWE is a little bit for everybody. But at the 11 o'clock hour, and yes, hour 3 has been notoriously a bad hour rating of the 3 hours. It seems to go downhill as the night progresses. But children don't normally tune in at 11 o'clock at night, 10:55, 10:30. If anything, you're supposed to do more of the kid-friendly stuff early, and you gradually progress into maybe some content that's more for adults around the 10 o'clock hour. Please, WWE. Alexa Bliss is nailing her character, but this is not entertaining. Shayna Baszler, are you trying to beef up her resume to apply for, like, movies outside of WWE? Is this something to show her acting capabilities? That ending was god-awful. It was god-fucking-awful.
You didn't like it?
I can't wait for live fans to come back so they don't do this pre-recorded bullshit anymore, because let me tell you something. In my honest opinion, I think live fans would have booed that shit out of the building. To me, I don't understand what's the purpose. That a little doll is making, you know, like Shayna Baszler turn into a crybaby, that she's a wimp stepping on a stuffed animal. I mean, come on, man. I don't even remember shit like that in Saturday night's main event. Again, Alexa Bliss is nailing it. I don't know how you felt about the segment, but I hated it. I'm like, you waited until 11 fucking o'clock. I mean, when people bitch about Kofi, you know, being the surprise taking on Drew 2 weeks ago, I mean, but then are silent about what we got tonight at 10 minutes to. I just thought this was horrendous, god-awful. Please, stop this shit. It's not even progressing wrestling. I hated it. And you know me, I'm a big fan of Shayna Baszler, and I have appreciated the acting that Alexa Bliss is doing. But this is fucking awful. It's awful. I'm watching this, and I'm like, come on, you're turning Shayna Baszler into a pile of mush over a toy doll. Where am I wrong, Mish?
I think you're taking it too seriously. Look, when it comes to the cornball, supernatural Alexa Bliss and the doll, we're not supposed to take it seriously. I think we've all kind of learned our lesson about taking that shit seriously. Remember the Randy Orton, Alexa Bliss stuff and how people were outraged that how dare you,
I'll see your rate. Ooh, I'll see. This doll better not be fucking making me my shit drop now. I'll take your Randy Orton and I'll raise you an ante. In fact, I'll put all my chips on the table right now about something. What classified as one of the all-time wrestle crap awful moments in the history of wrestling. Nobody knows where I'm going with this. One of the all-time top 10 wrestle crap moments in history. Tell me what was so different tonight between this and Rick Steiner talking to the Chucky doll on the Titantron, the Nitrotron.
No, it's just a different time, but yeah, it's the same level of wackiness, dude. Like, just because so in the sense of, is this the best career move? Is this something that's going to raise legitimacy in the wrestler Alexa Bliss and the wrestler Shayna Baszler? No, you're totally right. This is not going to be something that moves them forward. However, with that said, things that are purposely bad for the sense of trying to be something in order to be entertaining can still be entertaining while not being taken seriously at all. Godzilla movies, bad C cult movies, I mean, I guess it's a matter of taste. And I'm not saying that watching Shayna Baszler run from the effects of a doll is the greatest fucking C storyline ever or anything like that. By no means am I even implying that. I'm just saying that certain things that WWE does, you have to just take with a grain of salt. That's all. Look, I thought Shayna Baszler tonight was kind of saying what we were all thinking. Why in the fuck should I be afraid of a little blonde girl and her fucking doll? I was all aboard Team Shayna tonight. I was like, yeah, go kill Alexa Bliss. Go step on her doll. So, I don't know. I found enjoyment out of it. No, it's not a serious thing. No, we're not going to get a Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair Survivor Series 2019 match out of this. It's not going to happen. But as far as enjoying something because it's campy and stupid, yeah. I guess the problem is, though, you're right. Maybe it's more dedicated to kids in one sense. But I think it's a lot of adult humor, too. I think as adults, we can laugh at some of this shit. If WWE has problems with putting out compelling storylines, which the Kofi MVP Bobby Lashley thing is very compelling to me on a serious level, and I found it very interesting tonight. But before we get there, if for the most part, WWE has a problem putting out compelling storylines, at least when you ask the majority of people on social media, oh, WWE's bad at this, WWE's bad at this, if they can put out something that's completely campy and not supposed to be taken seriously, then why are we trying to take it seriously? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like you want everything to be one way, and then when it's not, you poo-poo on it because it's not the way that you intended, as opposed to just kind of going, well, I didn't expect anything to happen, and now here's something out of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm being forgiving. This isn't a WWE bootlicking thing either. This isn't like, oh, praise the Titan Lords above. It has nothing to do with that, DT. Well, I think for the most part, it's just simply enjoying something for being wacky.
Well, I enjoyed the Alexa Bliss, Randy Orton stuff. We actually enjoyed a lot of it.
Yeah.
The Lily thing, all right, it's had its moments here and there, but I thought tonight does nothing to help Shayna Baszler in any way. It does nothing really to help Alexa Bliss in any way. No. To me, I don't know what the point is out of all this. And let me put it like this. I remember when everyone out there lost their minds when Alexa Bliss took on Asuka in the ring. And all Alexa Bliss would do is go upside down, bend upside down like Bray Wyatt would do, and Asuka would be all freaked out and everything. And Asuka actually lost. And she got her ass handed to her from Alexa Bliss. And I remember everybody shitting all over that because you're taking Asuka, a legit badass, and you're making her look like a pile of mush in the ring, getting scared at Alexa Bliss. Tell me what's the difference between doing that to Asuka and doing that to Shayna Baszler? Oh, I get it. Everybody loves Asuka, and a lot of people don't like Shayna Baszler, so it's okay.
I don't think it's that, but there is a difference there. Asuka's seen as a legitimate competitor for the title. She's constantly in the title hunt. Shayna Baszler, while this is technically surrounding the women's tag team titles, I don't think that you are looking at this angle as this is Alexa Bliss's way to get inside the title hunt. Do you know what I mean? I think that's where you can take the seriousness and the campiness and you can kind of split them. Like this storyline, you're totally right. When you said this storyline doesn't help Alexa Bliss, this storyline doesn't help Shayna Baszler, you are 100% right. And I don't think it's supposed to. I think it's just like a character building storyline. It's trying to flesh out more details to add something different. But no, I don't think that somebody's going to get into the title picture because of this. I don't think Alexa Bliss is going to form a tag team with Lily and take the belts.
Oh, that's all we need, dude. That's all we need. That's all.
But
they're running out
though?
of pre-records,
Right. But do you see what I mean, though? Like, this isn't supposed to be taken seriously. Like, this is Lily and Alexa Bliss aren't going to go down in the record books as title holders. This isn't. That's when you take it a little bit more seriously. And I understand people that take the title seriously because that is the cornerstone of the company. The cornerstone of the company for this, there's no cornerstone. This is just a gag. This is a laugh.
Yeah, well, I think sometimes it's called jumping the shark. And I think they're really jumping the shark with this shit now. I really do.
Oh, I totally,
know what? Yeah. You know what? I really believe this. And if people pay attention closely, everything that we have said over the last month is now coming to fruition. A month ago, we told everyone that, when they return July, August, once they get their feet back on the road again, then the draft was going to go down. We got all the news the last 24 hours that the draft is taking place more than guaranteed the third or fourth week in August. I think the difference of opinion is some places are out there saying that the night one will be on Raw and it'll continue to night two. I'm hearing that it could be the other way around. Right after WrestleMania Backlash, that night we said that it was going to be Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre in the cage, Hell in a Cell, to finish up this feud. I also said that Seth Rollins versus Cesaro was likely going to be the Hell in a Cell on the SmackDown side. And the most important thing is that WrestleMania Backlash, all right, that showed us that WrestleMania was going to be different this year. WrestleMania was no longer the WrestleManias of years past, where the night after would be where storylines would go in this direction and this would go in this direction, and we'd have all new feuds and this and that. It now became Hell in a Cell this year because of the 2-3 month delay with live fans coming back. So rather than starting new chapters the day after WrestleMania this year, they're starting new chapters technically the day after Hell in a Cell. And it's going to continue for the first bunch of shows with live fans back. And then once you get, the SummerSlam, that's it. SummerSlam, some people might even feel that this year's SummerSlam is technically the WrestleMania turnaround, like the direction change. Most years it's WrestleMania. This year people may feel that it's SummerSlam. Because for those that don't know, SummerSlam, they officially announced the location. Right. It's in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Allegiant Stadium, the home of the Raiders. They're now setting up this arena, the stadium, to seat anywhere from 65 to 70,000 fans. So again, WrestleMania obviously is the biggest show of the year because of, this history and what we all look forward to. But this year, SummerSlam may actually be your WrestleMania. It really may be. But, you know, I personally feel, and this is where I was going with Alexa Bliss, I personally feel, I'll make a prediction. When they go back on the road, you're going to see a dramatic change in the storyline for Alexa Bliss. A dramatic change. I think what's going on now is going to continue right into the beginning of July. You'll see some seeds planted along the way, but I think once they go back to live fans, you're going to see this storyline take a major change of direction.
Sure, because they don't have to do the pre-recorded segments anymore. I mean, let's be honest, the pre-recorded segments were a lifesaver for WWE during the whole COVID process. The idea that they were able to have the Thunderdome during COVID was a lifesaver for WWE. But in that scenario, once you start having a live audience again, there's no need for it. There's no need for the pre-recorded segments. Don't get me wrong. I would still like to see a little bit more pre-recorded matches here and there because some of them are really well done.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I immediately flash back to stuff like AJ versus Undertaker was amazing. You know what I mean? So there are moments where the pre-recorded matches can be fun and can be good. But no, you are totally right. Alexa Bliss and this Lily character and the Bray Wyatt crossover reference, whatever they're doing with the spirituality of this, that's going to become a little bit different. You know, it's going to become a little bit more live-based, and I don't think it's going to be as important as it is right now.
Yeah. By the way, I want to just let everyone know, if we are going to take calls, I left my phone in the other room. So one of the rare times that I will actually have to get up, go grab my phone, come back here. It'll only take me about 10 seconds if we take calls. We'll see how everything goes today. We obviously want to start tightening up the shows a little bit, especially, you know, a lot of you are still asking for more content, so we would rather spread out a little bit more even. Before I go any further, we got to give some major congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Lee Sanders.
Yes.
RCWR show, got married, and congrats to the happy couple. Could not show my fiance. She'll get pissed off. She's now seeing other people get married, and she's like, we didn't even have a fucking engagement party yet. So, you know, congrats to the lucky couple. So very happy for them. So congrats.
Congratulations to you too.
I had to show you this also. I don't know if you heard about this. I saw this come out maybe yesterday. Maybe it came out a couple of days earlier. I know it's unrelated to wrestling, but I think a lot of you out there will be interested. Did you see this is coming?
I heard something about that. I have no idea. Have you seen like a trailer or anything for that? Or
No,
nothing.
All I heard is that there's going to be a lot of cursing in this movie. I could picture Herman now. Grandpa, stop looking at Lily like that. You creep. Grandpa would be scoping out all the chicks at the school bus stops and everything. He will be. I tell you, I bet you Grandpa turns into a pedophile.
Well, Jesus, I hope not.
Not to that extreme, but, you know, teasing a little bit of creepiness, you know.
I've watched enough about pedophilia after watching that Grizzly Smith documentary.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm good. I'm good.
Also, I wanted to make mention of this. I know, again, Mondays we do mostly wrestling, but I wanted to make mention of this. Rest in peace, Clarence Williams III. I know some of you out there that are older than me might remember him from the Mod Squad. Us and some younger fans out there remember him from Tales from the Hood, Sugar Hill. He was the father on Purple Rain. He was Prince's dad. For me, a guilty pleasure is his appearance on Miami Vice. If you've never seen it, watch the episode of Miami Vice where he's on. It was pretty fucking epic. He died. I don't know how old he was. I think he was probably around 80. But I'll tell you why I always remembered him in a wrestling way. Velveteen Dream. That's his logo that was on his shirts. I have a shirt inside. I always thought, and I'm telling you it's definitely unrelated, but when I saw that design come out If anybody out there that was fans of Clarence Williams III, you're probably going to pop when I show you this. Just to show you how much I followed this guy's work over the years. When I saw Velveteen Dreams logo come out, I always thought of this magazine cover. Way back in the 70s, when I think he was still on Mod Squad, I always thought that looked an awful lot. I mean, you look at really like the shape of the head, the shape of the eyeglasses, the nose, even the position of the lips. I always thought that was a little bit of a, I know it wasn't, but again, Velveteen Dream is based on the character Prince, and he was Prince's dad, and I always thought of that magazine cover. So, kind of, reveals my age a little bit, but I wanted to make mention of him because he did pass away. So, God rest his soul. God rest his soul. So, anyway, tonight we're going to talk mostly about wrestling.
So, pedophile heavy show tonight.
Oh, no. We don't have to get into all that.
All right.
No. We already talked about the draft that's coming, obviously. I mean, once we have the official date, on this show, it's kind of old news because you and I talked about this in nauseam over a month ago. But I got to share something that I thought was the pinnacle of garbage as far as wrestling sites go. Do you remember when the releases came out a week ago that a whole bunch of people went out of their way to do shows and articles dispelling a rumor that Keith Lee was released when he wasn't?
Right.
And there really was nobody reporting that, but they felt the need to go out of their way to dispel something that no credible people were reporting. Well, explain to me why they all dodged this. Why they all dodged that. Does anybody know why I'm showing this picture right now? That's Andrade and Charlotte, obviously. Andrade and Charlotte, Andrade posted that picture. And if you think I'm exaggerating, everyone out there, I will quit the shows tonight if I'm exaggerating at all. I don't even want you to go on Twitter. I want you to go on YouTube, and I want you, in parentheses, to type Charlotte pregnant. Last week, about 70 shows out there, all were clickbaiting, reporting that Charlotte was pregnant. Andrade was teasing Charlotte was pregnant. And when I saw all that, I was like, no, I'm not covering it on the show. Not covering it because I know it's not true. But then I wanted to see, why would Andrade tease this? And hear me out for a second. You remember when Charlotte was off WrestleMania and WWE thought Charlotte was pregnant?
Right.
And they made her do these tests? It didn't make sense to me. Okay, I understand why Andrade was livid when WWE thought that Charlotte was pregnant. We already explained scientifically why that happened and everything. But I'm saying there's no way that he's going to tease fans about pregnancy now, especially after that. And then I got that picture. Do you know, Mish? Again, everybody, I will quit the shows if I'm making this up. Because Andrade has his fingers on her stomach area, that's why they assumed it. Now, if Charlotte ends up being pregnant, she ends up being pregnant. But they did not get that info because of a test because he is posing with her fingers on her stomach. Mish, I don't know if you've ever posed with a woman before, or if any of you out there pose with anybody of the same sex. I guarantee you that some of you out there, when you pose with someone, you put your hand on there, you hold something. I mean, you just don't touch the buttocks or the chest area.
Sure.
Because of looking at that picture, they did podcasts about Charlotte pregnant.
Well, now, okay, let me play the devil's advocate here. Are these same shows and sites talking about what it potentially could mean for Charlotte's career if she was pregnant? What it could potentially mean for the relationship of Andrade and Charlotte?
I have no problem with that.
Or were they reporting it as, she is pregnant, here's the proof?
I don't have the picture in this computer. I have it in the other one. If anybody goes on Twitter, you will see good news, Charlotte pregnant. You will see other places.
So they're reporting it as fact.
Andrade teasing Charlotte pregnant.
Well, that's fine. Like, okay, all right. So
he wasn't teasing
it's a fact. Right. Well, saying it's a fact is wrong. You're 100% right there. If people are saying Charlotte is pregnant and they don't know, that's bullshit. But if they're talking about, hey, she might be pregnant, or hey, they want to get pregnant, it's a relationship. You know what I mean? Like, do you know what I'm saying? There's a difference when you're putting out definitive proof and it's not. It's a lie. Versus what would it be like if Andrade and Charlotte got pregnant?
Right.
It's fine to toy with the idea. It's fine to imagine what their careers would be like, especially now that Andrade debuted in AEW on Friday Night Dynamite. Of course, if it would be an interesting situation if Charlotte became pregnant because she's a WWE girl and he's an AEW guy. What would that mean for the child? Who would the child root for? Like, do you know what I mean? Speculation and trying to figure out and put the dots together is fine, but reporting that as actual conclusive proof is fucking ridiculous. It is absolutely clickbait if that's what those people are doing.
Oh, it was clickbait. Everyone out there, what was the AEW rating Friday? Was it 462 or 426?
They got a 4.62.
No, that would be great if it was that. No, it was in the fours, Mish. Look,
Man.
I'm gonna look. Everybody knows I tell it like it is. It sometimes is very unpopular, and I'm not gonna talk out of both sides out of my mouth. I'll say this. First of all, I apologize to everybody who's live. I have the latency on super low today, which means there's like a 10-second delay and not a 5-second delay. So some of the info comes a little later. It's 462. Thank you, Kavan. 462. I'll say this about this rating. Number one, I thought the rating was going to be around 700,000. I thought they were going to rebound because it was no longer Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day weekend was the weekend before. All right. When I saw that rating come in that low, if anybody tuned in to Friday when I did my live watch along, I brought up that I thought their match selection was pretty lackluster, as was the week before. And I personally think even for Friday night standards, 462 is pretty low. It's pretty lame. Because what that's showing for AEW fans, you didn't have 2/3 of their fans suddenly no longer watching the product. It's being preempted. If anybody goes back and looks at WWF's history from the 90s to as recent as I think 2006 or 7, they were preempted because of tennis. They were preempted on Raw because of dog shows. And a lot of times when they had to air on a Thursday or a Saturday, in fact, the first ever 2-hour Raw happened on a Thursday because it was preempted for dogs. Their ratings were not very impressive either. So when you're on a different night, especially late at night, you're going to have a decent number of people that are not going to be inclined to tune in live. There's no question 462 is a horrible number, especially after coming off of a damn good pay-per-view. It's just, if you look at the match selection, it looks like AEW is just treading. Let's just get by the next couple of weeks. I think that's why they postponed Jungle Boy versus Kenny Omega to Saturday, June 26th, which I speculated Friday was because of the low Friday numbers. But I'll just say two other things in closing. Number one, and I mentioned this Friday, for those that don't know, TBS, Wednesday night, 8 to 10 o'clock at night, airs reruns of The Big Bang Theory. They air like a 4, 5, 6 hour block of Big Bang Theory. What I don't understand is why that network insists on putting AEW late Friday night or Saturday, where they can just go on TBS right now, 8 to 10 p.m. Wednesday night, and just chop off 2 hours of Big Bang Theory reruns. That I don't understand. And the second point is I'm not going to be one of those that is going to gloat about horrible ratings. Bad ratings are bad ratings. But in the end, we are all wrestling fans. And as wrestling fans, you want things to get better. You want NWA to get better. And they thought they took a nice direction this weekend. You want products to get better. And to sit here now and gloat that the rating was awful and this and that and laughing about it, you know, again, I just think that's pretty horrendous to have that type of. Now, for AEW wackos out there and WWE wackos, you know, there's two extremes also. I don't concentrate on those people, but for regular people out there to use a low rating just to laugh at it, you know, I find that tacky.
I think a lot of it is kind of tacky anyways. I mean, the majority of the watching audience shouldn't really care about the ratings too much. The only thing you should really care about is, did you enjoy the show?
Yeah.
Was it something that you'll watch again next week? Is it something that you would put money down to watch on a pay-per-view or an event? Yeah. Would you go to a show? These are the things that the majority of fans should pay attention to. I think a lot of people get caught up in the ratings craze, if you will, because they think that the ratings validates them as wrestling fans for their favorite promotion.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve Joseph, by the way, for that question, the super chat. And you know what? I'm glad you said that, as long as you like the show. Because I want to thank Crazy Cruiserweight for these main event results. Mustafa Ali over Angel Garza. Jinder Mahal over Shelton Benjamin. So, contrary to all those people saying that Jinder was out because of another surgery, he's okay. But I bring up main event for a reason. Something I said on Friday. I really want to share it with you. I'd like your thoughts on it, especially for our Monday friends out there tuning in. I'd like your thoughts as well. Okay, Mustafa Ali posted this picture. I'm sure you could see that his body is pretty beat up. That was after his match on main event. Last week, he took on Jeff Hardy. I watched that match. It was awesome. It was excellent. And I just want your thoughts on something. I don't know how many of you out there have watched the match between Mustafa Ali and Jeff Hardy yet, but what drove me crazy last week were all the people that said, why isn't this on Raw? And yet, almost everybody that said that never watched the match because it was on main event. So what I'm saying is that if you enjoy main event, if you want to see Mustafa Ali and Jeff Hardy go 15 minutes, where on Raw they only get 4, why are you not watching main event? Why does it have to be only on Raw or only on SmackDown in order for you to tune in? I understand the wrestlers should be the ones bitching because they're not on a big show with advertising revenue and primetime TV and everything like that. But as you saw tonight, Jeff Hardy got rewarded for an awesome match on main event. Mustafa Ali got rewarded with his win in Angel Garza and doing a little storyline with Mansoor. All right, but what I'm saying is that if you're hearing that Ali and Ricochet and Jeff Hardy and Angel Garza are tearing this shit up on main event, why are you not watching it? There's no excuse for not watching it.
Sure there is. WWE does a lousy job of promoting main event. They do a better job of promoting NXT, but they rarely even bring up main event. They rarely ever bring up NXT
on,
UK.
Man. If you're on social media,
they rarely ever bring up 205. Like, hey, but that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. This is their company.
I'm talking about the people that know that these matches are going down and yet still won't watch.
But that's what I'm saying. You're talking about these amazing matches. Why isn't WWE telling us this? Why do I have to wait Monday night for Breakfast Soup, for Don Tony to tell me to go watch these matches? I'm just saying, if these matches are fantastic, I'm not dissuading from you at all. I'm just saying, if these matches are so relevant to the show and they're so interesting to watch, Why isn't the company pushing them?
I agree with you. Absolutely agree. By the way, Big T, that theft at the arena they were doing Thunderdome. We have a friend of the family here that works inside the building and is there for Raw and SmackDown. And you could see him on my social media all the time. In fact, I joked around with him this morning. I said, don't work too hard and don't steal any of Vince McMahon's toiletries. There's really nothing to cover other than that some guy walked in, or I should rephrase that. Some guy walked out of the building late Saturday, or actually early Saturday morning. It was about 2 hours or 3 hours after SmackDown completed. Walked out with a duffel bag and something else, and apparently some of the stuff belonged to Vince McMahon. Once we get an update, that's it. I mean, if I show you the pictures, it's so pixelated you can't make it out. You know, I mean, obviously the building has more high-definition pictures, and they know pretty much the nationality and this and that, but, you know, somebody stole the bag or two. That's it. Could have been a janitor. I mean, I don't think it's somebody just walked in and just somebody worked in the building.
They made it sound like, at least some of the reports that I saw, made it sound like it was more Thunderdome equipment, but it was something of Vince's.
Well, I heard it was a duffel bag and some of Vince's stuff was in it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that is, you know, public, but, you know, I asked around and I said, you know, what's in the bag? So I heard Vince's toiletries.
What's in the box?
So I heard Vince's toiletries. But Vince is not there all the time at Raw and SmackDown. So I think he was in Stanford, to be honest with you. Well, who knows? Once we get an update, you know, we'll let everybody know. So, Philip Maffey, he hopes Bray Wyatt returns and burns the doll. Oh, I hope so, too. I hope so, too. I mean, it has to be.
Does he mean, when he says burns the doll, does he mean Alexa Bliss? Because I hope so, too.
No, he means burns. Well, actually, you know what? He did burn. Well, Randy Orton burned him. Ah, man. You know, I think Shayna Baszler needs to burn the doll. But you know what's going to happen? It's going to be like a bad horror film. And remember when we said like 2-3 weeks ago, like you shoot Michael Myers in the head and then you look and then he's gone. He's at Dunkin' Donuts and you slash Jason in the throat. You look and he's hanging out in some cabin somewhere, like waiting for some hot chick to get out of the shower so he could stab him. Like you could burn the doll and you know what's going to happen? There's going to be all that splicing and editing, and Shayna Baszler is going to light the doll on fire and be like, oh, thank God the storyline's over, and then Shayna's going to go like this, and then the doll's going to be back to life again. It's going to be like a bad Chucky thing. See, at least Rick Steiner was angry at the doll, and Rick Steiner didn't start shitting bricks when the doll started laughing at him. Rick Steiner's like, you know, come here, I'll fight you right now. Come in this ring.
Maybe Shayna's just a little bit superstitious. Maybe that's what it is. Who knows?
So Fly, he says WWE books try to bring in the casual fans. Casual fans don't want technical work. They like interesting TV, goofy or not. It'll get people to watch. I understand that, but there's a reason why it's closing out Raw. There's a reason why Reginald and Shayna are closing out Raw, and then it follows the next week with some of this stuff. Look at the way the ratings are. But then again, with the ratings now, oh, my God. Oh, my God. We told you this 5 weeks ago. Told you it was going to happen. Showbuzz Daily, done. Officially done. All of those websites that claim they had these big sources with TV ratings, they have nothing now. Zero. I'm trying to get Nielsen to respond to me. I have not gotten any response yet. I'm hoping to reclaim my account. If I get it, you will get rating stuff exclusive from me. I will not make you pay for it or anything like that. But, you know, if I don't get that account back, then, you know, I don't know who I'll get the ratings from. But at least I'm pretty honest with everybody out there. All these people that had their exclusive sources and everything, all they were doing was just copying off of a website. Showbuzz was officially taken offline today. I think the old page is still up there, but they're done. They're not coming back. The owner made an announcement. And pretty much everyone, he did what Mish and I did, what Jason does or used to do, what a lot of other people did. And that is have a website, provide news, and did it for the love of it and not to make money and not as a business. And what happened with Showbuzz is, just to summarize it, the guy, because he was not gaining revenue and didn't have payable premium stuff, he was doing it all for the love and attention and did not take all of the precautions, and he was running things on the cheap. And the site had a major update with WordPress. They didn't do backups. They didn't do daily tapes. If they did daily tapes, the server company would have restored it from the day before. Daily tapes are not that cheap. I have them, even though I really don't need them, but it's just for peace of mind. And when he didn't have a daily tape, he lost 90% of everything. In the process, the person who he was getting this stuff from basically stopped being his supplier. So when he writes today that neither one was connected, oh, bullshit. Oh, bullshit. Bullshit. But you know what? The reason why I don't, get angry at the guy is because he did provide a service for nothing and worked his ass off doing it. It's just a shame. You take shortcuts, sooner or later it catches up. Sure. So Showbuzz is done. It's amazing that no other Showbuzz type websites are out there, Mish. Not even just for wrestling, but just for TV shows and everything like that. It's mind-boggling that there aren't more. I remember back in the day, you and I, we would go to TV Zap to It, and some others, and get some numbers there, or email a friend of a friend of a friend.
You know what? I guarantee you there's a lot more showbiz sites out there, but they're not. They're probably what people inside the media industry look at. I know on radio it was the same exact way. I mean, you could look up the Arbitron ratings and stuff like that, but as far as public, well-known websites, there really wasn't much of that for radio. But if you were actually in radio, there was a ton of different websites that you could go to. So I'm pretty sure you'll find a new site very soon, fairly soon, because somebody else will even post about it. So
Harris B in his house. I think in 25 years, I think that's the first time I ever said his house. I don't even know if that's even the right way to say it. I'm such a generic white guy over here.
Oh, it's all right.
His house. Chris Silva, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Who do we think will face Bobby Lashley after Hell in a Cell if he beats Drew McIntyre?
I hope it's Kofi.
Remember
look, hey, and I know I got a little bit of pushback on that, but I like the idea of Kofi being back in the running. Look, I'm just not happy, and I haven't been satisfied with Kofi after he lost. Look, I understand his WrestleMania run. A lot of people really weren't fans of it. I get that. But you don't just one and done the man. You give him a chance for retribution. And tonight they were sowing a little bit of the seeds tonight with MVP and Kofi Kingston, and I fucking loved it. I thought it was a great back and forth promo. I like that they touched on how MVP felt when Kofi won the belt at WrestleMania. I love that they brought that in to perspective because they kind of bridge their own personal history and use it as a storyline. And in that same token, MVP explained why Kofi will never be as good as Bobby Lashley. And it really comes down to Bobby Lashley is far more tenacious than you, Kofi. And Kofi's cutting him off and saying, I've got my friends and my family. That's what keeps me going. So now you have this really deep fucking storyline between three dudes. And it's kind of does WWE know what they're doing right now? Do they understand how cool this storyline could be? I mean, we know that they could totally fuck it up, but we don't want to hope that. We really want to hope that Kofi and Bobby Lashley go at it, and it turns out to be something fantastic.
One thing they intentionally left out today. Kofi pinned Bobby Lashley a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's coming up. So, yeah, it looks like Ray may get a shot at Roman Reigns. Kind of now batting for Daniel Bryan. It's like the veteran, getting a shot at the title. So, Ray at Roman, Kofi at Bobby. I think Kofi, and who knows, man. I mean, People still think Brock Lesnar may be returning now with live fans coming back. And by the way, I got to mention this very quickly. Just get out of the way. And I'm going to bring it up Wednesday again. Props, albeit small. Props to NWA. Props to Impact Wrestling. Props to Ring of Honor. Because it was only 10 days ago when I did that rant about these three companies. No announcements, nothing whatsoever. And, NWA, spur in a moment, 3 days notice, put up a couple of tickets. Now, if you saw the NWA pay-per-view yesterday, it was virtually nobody there. You look at the Ring of Honor tickets that went on sale, like the whole ringside area, there's no tickets available. They're going to have just friends and family sitting in those boxes because they know who they are, and they're going to make those come off as regular fans. You go on the Ticketmaster, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But still, some fans back. And Impact Wrestling, remember all the restrictions? I talked about that building in Nashville. Those restrictions are still in place. So they will have a very small group of people. But you know what? It's a start. Good for all three of those companies. And congratulations, Camille. I think every single one of us expected her to beat Serena Deeb for that title. Match was better than I thought it would be.
Match was fantastic. And as much as I like Camille, it was fantastic, not on the part of Camille. It was fantastic because it really, really showcased how wonderful Deeb is in the ring. She sells everything. I swear to God, by the end of that match, you thought that Camille was killing her, like physically killing her.
Deeb's awesome.
Deeb understands how to make moves look good. I never knew that she was capable of such a great, ability to sell, great psychology, but Deeb is somebody that needs to stick around the NWA for a while because, wow, women's divisions could use talent like that.
Absolutely. She's excellent. She's excellent. I mean, I love her. It's not only her psychological reactions, but she's got that instantaneous wherewithal to improvise.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something that is really a lost art these days. Just the realism and improvising. Improvising, I think, is even...
Dude, Deeb made Camille look like a monster.
Yeah.
Like, if people ever doubted before whether Camille was going to make a good NWA Women's Champion or not, after this Sunday, because of Deeb, she looks like she's the next coming of China.
Yeah.
She really does.
Yeah. She's like... I know it's unfair to say, but to me, she kind of leapfrogged Raquel Gonzalez a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Pat, speaking of women's wrestling, Pat McGrath with the Super Chat. 90 should main event SummerSlam if they want to fill that stadium. What stadium? 72,000. And you know what? Her and Tamino will probably have a high-profile match over there. But I tell you, man, Mish and I have been talking about it. We did that 3-hour show last Wednesday. They have really dismantled the women's tag team division significantly. I mean, just really, really dismantled it. I mean, you actually just think about the tag teams that are left in WWE in the women's side, unless, like you and I said, graduating a few people on the roster. And listen, about Raw tonight, guess we could talk about that a little bit. Actually, let's answer Rye Baker's. If Bobby Lashley retains at Hell in a Cell, who will face him at Money in the Bank? Oh, that's a good one, because we're thinking Kofi at SummerSlam, but you know what? Maybe Kofi faces Lashley at Money in the Bank, and then Lesnar faces Lashley at SummerSlam. I think Lashley versus SummerSlam is the bigger match of the two.
Yeah.
So
well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think Kofi versus Lashley for Money in the Bank, and Lesnar versus Lashley at SummerSlam. I think that's your money match. I mean, a lot of people were thinking Roman Reigns versus Cena at SummerSlam because of the rumors with Cena. I mean, if you're going to fill up 72,000, you better have WrestleMania caliber matches announced. And those are pretty two solid matches to book. SummerSlam, Lesnar versus Lashley, that's a fantasy match that a lot of people wanted for a long time. And Reigns versus Cena, that's kind of a fantasy match that a lot of people wanted as well.
Yeah.
Think about that. That'd be two fucking awesome matches, man. I'd be into that. Shit, yeah. Yeah, I like that ride. Good. Both of you that brought up. Well, Pat with the natty nut job. So Chris Silver and Rye Baker, good ones. Definitely good ones. I like that. Let's talk a little bit about Raw. Oh, and by the way, I just want to throw this out there. We're not taking calls yet. Like I said, I got to get the phone inside if we're going to do that. But I wanted to let you know, a lot of you out there reached out to me within the last week. I had no idea that the live calls was going to be that important. And we're going to gradually blend them in. But so many of you asked if 225 was a toll-free number, and it wasn't. I didn't know that it was Louisiana. So a lot of you asked, DT, get a toll-free number. I had one. So I configured it so that whenever we're doing shows, that it's configured for the shows over here. So if you're worried about long-distance charges and you want to call into the show, you could either call 225-DON-TONY or you could call 833-DON-VMVM. That was the voicemail number. I now configured it that during our live shows, you could use it for call-ins as well. Now, don't call the numbers now. It's on Do Not Disturb, and the phone's inside. But that is the toll-free number. So if anybody wants to call in and needs the toll-free option, don't say we don't ever work hard for you out there. Speaking of working hard, Mish, you and I joked last week. He's kind of turning into a baby face, unexpected. Yeah, that's what happened with Sheamus last week. Legitimate broken nose. We feared it. That's the after effects of last week. And I don't know. You think he'll be good in time to take on Ricochet and Humberto Carrillo?
Dude, it's not unexpected. I told you before. When Ricochet and Carrillo were attacking Sheamus and running up the ramp and laughing, I'm like, how are these guys the baby faces? It didn't make any sense. And so we see them tonight, and they both go to a draw. And you have Sheamus out there all bruised up, got the makeup going, looks like just hell. It looks like it hurts for him to talk. And there was a little shot, like a camera shot, on Sheamus laughing while being in pain at the same time, and I thought it was fucking brilliant. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird because I've never been a big fan of Sheamus. Like, not really. I understand the guy, and I understand why people do like him and why a lot of people really don't like him. But he's becoming sympathetic.
Yeah.
And it's really weird that in 2021, Sheamus is becoming sympathetic on any level.
He's paying for our sins.
It was funny,
dude, man. Look, anybody that goes back with us years remembers how much we literally almost cried on the shows that, please, no more Randy Orton versus Sheamus. And then the pinnacle was when everybody was doing the wave. And and for those, again, I'm sorry for repeating it. If you're a newer wrestling fan, go to like that website that shows you like the match history of the wrestlers and look up Sheamus and Randy Orton and just look at how many times they fought each other on TV. It was worse than Groundhog Day. But I tell you, I'll repeat what I've said a couple of times since last year. Asuka rightfully was the MVP of 2020 during COVID. I mean, we're still in COVID, but 2020, I think Asuka was the MVP of Raw. I think since COVID started, I think it's pretty safe to say, as far as Raw goes, I think Sheamus should be right up there as far as MVPs, just putting out match after match, quality match after match. I mean, we think back to what he had with Drew McIntyre. We think back what he had with Riddle, with Jeff Hardy, with AJ Styles. I think he had a little bit with Sheamus consistently since last year has put on I would say, some of the best matches on Raw. Consistently. I mean, you put him out there against anybody, and he seems to just
He's been very selfless lately, and you're totally right. Pretty much since the end of 2019, going into this year, like, there is a lot that Sheamus has done, not even really to put himself on the radar, but to make other people look good. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what the change in attitude has been for Sheamus, but he's been putting on, you're right, good matches, great matches even. So, yeah, it's kind of wild that here we are, and now he's all beat up, and I still got to say, it's weird. It's almost odd. It's a very odd feeling to think, wow, I'm feeling sympathy for Sheamus getting the shit kicked out of him. You know, like, it's not a person that a lot of people were like, oh, yeah, you know, Sheamus, I feel bad for him. Like, that's
and Benjamin,
not a normal thing.
Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say he was the MVP. I said you have to put him up there. You know, top 5, I think, without a doubt, is just consistent.
He's trying. He's fucking... Give him a little bit of a break. He's trying. Like, in his entire career, whatever, whether you liked it or not, now he's trying. He's really fucking trying right now. So
I tell you the truth. I think when he got that spinal stenosis stuff and the scares and everything, you know, it does give you a second outlook on life a little bit. And it gives you a little reality check like, hey, man, you know, I don't know how much time I could still do this in the ring. So I'm going to give it my all, and I'm going to put all my effort into it because if, you know, tomorrow's never guaranteed. And if he's got to retire, you know, abruptly, you know, he knows that he didn't just sit on his ass and just wing it. You know, I think the guy is really, you know, you could tell. I mean, on the AEW side, I'm not trying to compare Sheamus to Britt Baker, but one of the good things about AEW is that hardcore AEW, no, look, I've been saying it 1,000 times, Britt Baker still has a long way to go. And they got to be careful trying to tease like, you know, this, you know, loose cannon, you know, Stone Cold. But AEW fans that consistently watch Britt Baker over the last 18 months saw the hard work she's put in and the progression. And then you hear the stories about her driving 2 to 3 hours each way to go to school, you know, in the midst of all of this to train and do this stuff. So people do see and appreciate hard work. Doesn't have to just be in the wrestling ring, but they see that, and I think they acknowledge it. I think people deep down inside, whether you like Sheamus or not, will say, you know what? This motherfucker is not just packing it in and just getting through the matches. Like when you hear about releases, you don't hear anybody anymore saying like, well, I wasn't Sheamus on that list. How did they keep this? How did they let this person go and keep Sheamus? You don't hear anybody doing that anymore.
No.
Yeah. Now, the matches tonight, little strange. We had an opening, not tag team gauntlet, but tag team battle royal to determine the new number 1 contenders for AJ Styles and Omos's tag team titles. It was the Viking Raiders defeating Randy Orton and Riddle, John Morrison and The Miz, and they're playing off The Miz is injured, New Day, T-Bar and Mace, and the Lucha House Party. It came down to New Day, Viking Raiders, Riddle, and Randy Orton. By the way, I took a screenshot of it. What do you think of their new shirt?
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's that bad.
It's, you know what? It's the kind of cheesy shirt you would expect from a mixed type of tag team like this. It's silly, and at the same time, you know, it shows you that it's Randy Orton.
Overdone, yeah. But you know what? See that? And I purposely put the back of the shirt for example. I guess that's Riddle's hair and the Viper, you know, wearing the hat. Right. You know, if you think that Randy Orton is not going along with it, well, they have a hoodie with the same logo on it. So yeah. Randy Orton was wearing a hoodie tonight. I don't know if you could all see it up close, but that's Randy Orton wearing a hoodie. I tell you, it's actually a shirt I would think about getting. I wouldn't wear it in public, but it's not that bad.
Well, the logo part on the back is fine.
Yeah.
I think the shirt itself, though, the Arcade Bros shirt is campy. But there's nothing wrong with that. It's a silly shirt.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a bad shirt. It's just silly. Does it glow in the dark? Because there's a lot of green on it.
I don't know if it glows in the dark.
Okay.
I got to look into that. I don't think it does, though. But you know what? With that lighting that I have over here, I could probably adjust the lighting and make it glow in the dark.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably could. This doesn't glow in the dark, but if you do the lighting a certain way, actually the wrestling would look like it glowed in the dark. So
nice.
As people could see, I'm a big Beavis and Butthead fan. So still am. All right, a lot of you been asking me for the last couple of days. I'm just going to throw it out there, and we move on. I really want to talk about it tonight. I got my results in. I actually had a message from my doctor late Friday. I didn't even realize he called. I left a message on Saturday. I got a call today. Let's just say that I'm now doing a crash course on the Gleason index number. So apparently the results came in that my Gleason number is a 6. 6, basically what that means, and I'm going to put the results online once I dox some of the personal info. Basically what it means is that it came back that it is, but it's something that just needs to be monitored right now. It's not something that I have to worry about, that's anything like that. If it's not cancer yet, it's only a matter of time where it will. But there's like a Gleason index that if it's a 6, it's something that you monitor and you don't necessarily have to do anything about right now. There's like light procedures and shit. So it's not full blown, but it came back where my Gleason number was a 6. And apparently a 6 is where you're like, all right, something is going on, but, if it stays like that, then I'm good to go. But if it gets worse, then obviously I got to do something about it. So I'll put the results online. You all could read it. It sucks, but the only consolation is it runs in my family. My father had it. My uncle had it. My grandfather had it. My brother has not had it, but, their Gleason number was a lot higher. When I hear Gleason, I'm thinking of, that's my Ralph Cramden impersonation. But, they did the biopsy sample and it came back as a 6. So we'll see what happens. But I'm not thinking about it. I'm actually kind of relieved, because at least I know what's going on. But my doctor told me today, he's like, look, don't lose sleep over it. Don't think that, right now you have plenty of options. And if I do nothing right now, that's just as fine. So,
right.
If it interferes with sex and I can't pee, then I'll worry about it a little more. So I wanted to throw it out there, unexpected. I didn't want to hype it up through the show. I just figured I'd throw it out there once. Again, this is still all new to me as far as Gleason. My father never told me about Gleason numbers or anything like that. All I know is that his PSA number was a crazy high number, and he had to get radiation put in, and he couldn't be around pets and kids for like 6 months. So.
And Charlie's asking like a very simple but meaningful question in the chat room. He wants to know the meaning of the Gleason numbers, and basically the numbers, simply put, are a range that if you go higher up, the chances of cancer forming are more detectable. So
6 means there's something going on, but if it gets to 8 to 10, then obviously I got problems. Right now, 6 means there's something going on. But, it's a combination of two numbers. Yeah.
Right.
It's still all new to me, too. But, and if people notice, yes, it's kind of related. People notice I have taken a dramatic shift on Twitter. The last couple of days, I have been 100% interactive. I've been following everybody and their mother. I mean, there's some people I still, not interested in following, but the point is, I had a long talk with somebody over the weekend. Somebody I trust, in wrestling, but somebody I'm friendly with. And this person has been there for a lot of other people who have had issues also. And all I'll say is this. This person told me, he's like, look, you got a whole family out there on social media. You know,
Right.
Twitter doesn't have to be toxic if you don't want it to be. You know, just hang out with Mish is having a little puff break, by the way. It's all good. I don't want anybody to think it's
I got
crack.
the shield over here.
No,
What?
that's okay.
Crack?
It sounded like crack. Remember you did that spoof
No,
of
it's-
TNA. What was that show? TNA. Remember you did the Jeff Hardy spoof? Reaction. TNA Reaction. Jeff Hardy comes back. And it's so anyway, I had a long talk with somebody, you know, DMs, not phone. The guy said to me, he's like, look, you got so many friends out there on social media. You know, why don't you interact with everyone? And I'm like, yeah, but look how toxic. He goes, like, it's as toxic as you want it to be. Don't talk to the people that, you know, just bring you down. And you just, so everyone, the bottom line is, yes, I'm now back on Twitter, 110%. If you want me to follow you and interact with you, just reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to do so. But we'll have fun. We'll have fun.
For sure.
That's it. That's it. I actually could go for a little hit right now, I tell you the truth.
I genuinely wish that YouTube wasn't so restrictive about some of this stuff. It's really goofy. Because the funniest thing about it is I see channels that are monetized out there, and dudes are just lighting up cigars, they're lighting up straight up joints. And it's like, well, how in the hell do they stay monetized while lighting up a joint on stream? And it's because, you know, I guess their fan base doesn't report them or whatever.
It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
I try to avoid any issues at all, so I don't take chances, but still, you see some people doing some stuff out there, and I'm like, whoa. But I'll tell you this much.
Yeah, man.
Without getting into the whole thing, it makes me appreciate more back in the day when WWE allowed me to do Tombstone Radio.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very
it's just
true.
when people... Thursday, I promised everyone I would show some screenshots of it. And Thursday, I will have the bird here. Somebody gave me an awesome idea. He's got a camera inside by his cage. He's not here yet. I'm bringing him here Wednesday. But I have a camera. I can monitor him at night. So somebody told me on Thursday, since Thursday is really like a real like off-the-cuff show over here, we just hang out and lounge. Put a little bird cam in the corner. So might actually have Freddie cam on the screen over the weekend. And by the way, I didn't know if I told you this. In the very near future, I know you don't want to take part in this, but I'm going to announce it to everyone out there, just as a gag. Somebody did this on Twitch. I think I mentioned it to you on Patreon. And Francine, former ECW, Francine, she joked about it. And I said, I'm going to do it. I said, I'm going to definitely do it. Somebody was on Twitch and made a crazy amount of views just sleeping. So what I have decided in the very near future, I am going to stream on YouTube, yours truly, sleeping. I have never recorded myself sleep on video. I don't know if I pick my ass while I'm sleeping, if I fart, if I pick my nose. I don't know what I do while I sleep. I don't know if I snore at the top of my lungs. Once in a while, I get a little push from my significant other. So, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it head-to-head with some podcast out there that pisses me off, and I'm going to just record myself live. And
You don't have like nocturnal emissions or nothing like that, right?
I don't think so. I do get,
Okay.
I do get gas, and I do get up, morning wood.
No,
happens,
I mean, like, are you going to like wake up on the stream and you got like a giant rod in front of the camera?
No. I will not put the camera there, but I will have the audible alerts on for the super chats. So when I'm in a deep sleep, but I'll probably only set it to like $5 and above. I'm not trying to like, my point is if I set it at 99 cents, just when I'm about to go into deep sleep, I'm going to hear like Crazy Cruiserweight's going to be like main event results. So the super chats will wake me up, but I'll have the camera right on me and I'll just be like sleeping and it'll go off and I'll be like, fuck off. I'm going to be all night. I'm telling you, it's going to be the funniest thing. It's going to be real. I'm going to pop an Ambien. I'm going to turn it on right when I'm about to pass out and whatever happens. In fact, I posted it on Twitter. I don't have the picture in this computer, but I posted it on Twitter a couple of days ago. My fiance took a picture of me like 7 years ago when I was sleeping in the bed. and it was an actual pitch. I sleep like this. So, going to do that soon. It's not going to be an OnlyFans. It'll be just YouTube stuff.
Do you sleep with your eyes open? Are you one of those?
I don't think so. I don't think so. The picture that she got of me, my eyes were closed.
Do you talk when you sleep? Do you talk?
I do sometimes. I mean,
yeah.
God forbid if that's one of the nights that I dream about my dog, because that would be like an epic fail if I start crying in my sleep and waking up, because that's happened like 4 or 5 times. No, I'm not kidding. Yeah. Happened to me about 2 months ago.
I don't mean it in a dark way, but I wonder if there's a way that you can do that. You can do the sleep thing, and when people leave you super chats, it reads off the super chat to you while you're sleeping.
There's a computer program that does it. I just haven't had the time to do that yet, but it can read it. I could even have it set up with my phone where it sets a vibrate alert. I could keep like the phone like, like somewhere near like, my private area.
Oh yeah, cam girls have that.
Like
cam
I'll be
girls
sleeping.
have that little pink vibrator. It wakes them up too.
No, it'll be rated G, but
okay.
Somebody told me like, dude, you got to do that shit. I'm like, hell yeah, man. I'll do it. I won't do it up. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to do it up against like JD or Jason like that, but I'll do it against someone else on YouTube that's just a prick, And this person's going to be like, the fuck, man? All my viewers, they're watching Don Tony sleep. Going to do it, man. Going to definitely do it. It's going to be like a bad version of the Truman Show. So, anyway. Let's talk a little about the Tag Team Battle Royal tonight. So, the Viking Raiders won.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you, dude. The feeling I have about the Viking Raiders is the same feeling I got about Nikki Cross. Smoke and mirrors. To me, this stuff with Nikki Cross is going absolutely nowhere. 3 weeks in a row, 3 wins. It just feels like, all right, she's still on the roster. Let's make everybody believe like she's getting like momentum in a winning streak. She ain't cracking through the top of the top. I mean, I like Nikki Cross. We have rooted for her for a long time. I think her lowest of the low was that picture from the Women's Royal Rumble. But it just feels like all Nikki, to me, honestly, and this is not a knock on her, she's talented. To me, Nikki Cross is a necessary prop to advance the feud between Charlotte and Rhea Ripley, and nothing else.
Yeah. I see where you're going with that. I still think that there's a chance that Nikki Cross could be taken seriously out of this. I think if Nikki Cross keeps getting bounced back and forth and kind of treated as a third wheel or a third leg to this, I think at that point there's going to be something where Nikki Cross surprises both of them. And Nikki Cross gets legit wins over both of them. And I think then all of a sudden you've really built up the underdog story. See, that's the thing I see. Nikki Cross is the perfect person right now to be the underdog in the women's division because nobody expects anything from her. Nothing. Nobody has any expectations of Nikki Cross to even be where she is tonight. Even the fact that she was in a tag team with Asuka tonight was something that was unexpected. So, in one sense, I understand where you're saying, like, as far as the feud right now between Rhea and Charlotte, she really bears no pace. I agree. But I think they're setting her up for down the road to be that underdog, to be that Daniel Bryan, to be that person that rises up from the bottom and maybe gets the fans on her side. I don't know exactly when that'll take off, but if you want to talk about anybody being primed for that kind of a storyline, that kind of a run, she seems like she's the girl.
I hope so. I hope so. It just, when I look at the two rosters, I see about 8 names that, man, you know what? Live fans might be exactly what Nikki Cross needs. Seriously. Yeah. Because if the live fans return and they cheer for her loud, I think it gives WWE like a second, like, okay, all right, maybe we could do something here. And guess what? I don't know if it's Naomi. I don't know if it's Liv Morgan. I don't know if it's somebody on NXT. But maybe somebody could ultimately team up with Nikki Cross, because if there was ever a chance for Nikki Cross to become a champion, probably the tag team championship is the best scenario for her. I don't see her cracking past Rhea Ripley and Charlotte and others unless she gets this monstrous fan backing. And I think live fans, if they truly are into Nikki Cross, they got to speak up and be loud. And I think with the current tag team division in the women's side of WWE, Nikki Cross probably could break through over there. Yeah. By the way, there you go. That's when I have more chins in a Chinese restaurant, as people could see. That is about 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago. That's apparently how I was sleeping. So somebody sent me the photo. Same thing with the Viking Raiders. I don't know, man. It felt like WWE was pushing AJ Styles and Omos as baby faces. Then they do this Viking Raiders thing, and it kind of feels like, okay, I'm a little confused now about this. I mean, I understand that a champion against all comers, but I don't feel like the Viking Raiders are getting any type of a push right now. It almost feels like the Viking Raiders, the only reason why they're getting this opportunity is because we don't have live fans back. And they're saving their bullets for the bigger names like Orton and Riddle. I think Riddle and Orton are the ones that are going to be for when live fans return. Right now, we're giving the Viking Raiders. But once live fans come back, Riddle versus Orton. I mean, Riddle versus AJ Styles, and you got Orton going at it with Omos. I see they're just delaying it. I don't know. You feel there's any momentum right now with the Viking Raiders?
Viking Raiders are, you know what? I can't compare them directly to Nikki. I don't see the two career trajectories being similar at all. Viking Raiders, I don't know what the purpose is. I don't feel like these guys are going to be the next champions. I don't see them with anything important in the future, but I don't know. For them, I don't know. Nikki, it feels different. Maybe it's because I see different things with Nikki, but as far as the Viking Raiders go, I think they're just for the week, just a stepping stone, just a feud for an event or two. But I don't know. It's just my feelings.
Let me tell you something. Ivar tonight.
Yeah,
I know it's not that big of a deal, but for me, it was so noticeable that for all these people with these AEW botch Twitter accounts, I think it's fair or reasonable that they put up a little bit of Ivar tonight. This guy, like 2 or 3 times on the hard camera, he need Riddle once, he need Orton another time, and he slapped his leg right smack on the camera. And then the best part, when they eliminated Randy Orton and knocked him over the top rope, if you look at it closely, right on the hard camera, this is Randy Orton's back. This is Randy Orton's back. He did this, and then he flipped him over. Like, okay, now I'm going to flip you off.
Right.
It was so clear and obvious. Honestly, if I was the promoter of that company and that was on the hard camera like that, I would have ripped. I don't know how deep I would have ripped him, but I'd be like, what's this shit right on the fucking hard camera? I understand they want to alert Randy Orton because Randy Orton's not paying attention, so they want Randy Orton to be prepared to go over the top rope, not hurt himself. I get it. But literally on the hard camera, slaps him right in the back and then flips him over. To me, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
There's got to be a different way to do that, and it was just awful when I saw that on TV.
Just do it again. That's my whole thing. When wrestlers miss a move or when they botch a move, DT, why don't they just do it again? Why don't they just attempt it again? Reset the move up. And I don't know if it's a crunch for time, but it's really wild because that's happened so many times. There's so many botched moves that happen. And the announcers try their best to cover it up. You know, Jim Ross is famous. Oh, he didn't get all of that one. You know, like I get that it's the announcer's job to make this look good even when it doesn't. But when you make a mistake on that level, just do it again.
Exactly.
I mean,
he
am I
didn't get him
wrong?
up that much. He did that time.
Right.
I agree, man. Viking Raiders doesn't feel any special. I mean, it's nice to see him back on TV, but T-Bar and Mace I was kind of impressed with. I think T-Bar and Mace, they're saving also, so I'm not concerned about them. Jaxson Ryker over Elias by countout. Jaxson Ryker with a little bit of a different look now. You know, with the shaved head, he kind of has a little bit of a CM Punk physique, especially with the tattoos. But still Jaxson Ryker. I don't know where this is going with him. I don't know. It just feels like this ain't going nowhere.
Crazed military guy?
I don't see them doing that. I don't see him
I
going
mean,
political.
they brought up his military career now a few times. They keep doing it. And you're right. He's got the shaved head, and he still has the CM Punk physique. I'll totally give you that. But do you think they... I don't know. Because that's a pretty fucking controversial storyline. If you're talking about a former military guy and he's kind of a bit crazy, I know they're not going to say PTSD.
No, they're going to make him look like
WWE.
I think he's going to baby face out of this.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know, man. Crazed former military guy. I don't know. It just seems a little too controversial for WWE in 2021.
I agree.
But I like the idea of it. I mean, shit.
Anything's better than nothing, I guess. But I just can't picture fans in droves getting behind it. I mean, it's just, wow. It's almost like the only way you're going to get Jaxson Ryker over is if you would have beat the fuck out of either Lars or Velveteen Dream. You know what I mean? Like, he's got to fuck with someone that people dislike even more. You know what I mean? I'll give you a good one. Matt Cardona. He's one of the few that still has me blocked on social media.
Oh.
You know, like, Matt Cardona, it took him to attack Nick Gage after all of these years for me to be like, okay, all right. I'll give him that. If he's willing to, like, do a little hardcore stuff with Nick Gage, I'm like, all right. Took all that. You know, like, you know, but I don't know. I think Jaxson Ryker, I don't know, man. It's gonna be he probably likes the challenge, but it's gonna be an awful hard road to climb to get over in the WWE. He's got social media totally against him, and it's gonna reflect on the crowds as well. It's not gonna be easy. So, Near, I took care of you earlier, my friend. Ricochet and Humberto Carrillo, as we said before, they fought to a double countout. Right now, they have not announced that both guys are going to take on Sheamus at Hell in a Cell for the simple reason that Sheamus is not cleared yet. So they did this storyline. See, 9 times out of 10, when you have two people fighting, and there's going to be for a number one contender spot, and those two people end up with no result, a la Pac, Orange Cassidy is the latest example. It's not that, okay, the champion has no match. Whoever the GM or the promoter is will turn around and say, okay, both now have the title shot. In this case, this is the 1 time out of 10 where the two number one contender or wannabe number one contenders, neither one lose, neither one win, technically. And it's not announced that they get the title shot anyway. They're waiting to make sure that Sheamus is cleared. If Sheamus is not cleared, he will not have a match on that pay-per-view. And personally, I think they should keep him off that pay-per-view. Give him time. Give him time to heal.
Yeah.
Shit like that is a serious injury. So, now, what's your thoughts on Jeff Hardy beating Cedric? You know, Cedric talking about Jeff Hardy over the hill. Jeff Hardy talking about there's a culture in the locker room. I kind of heard that before with Ciampa and others. But Jeff Hardy gets the win on Cedric tonight.
I think that was a surprise. I think a lot of people were surprised because Jeff Hardy isn't really known as the guy that's being pushed for the win lately. So you think they're trying to build up something for the future of Cedric versus Jeff Hardy?
I think today was a test. See how it go over. Somebody brought to my attention today and said, DT, I remember you saying a couple of months ago that what WWE's doing with Jeff Hardy is he's there to help elevate the younger talent. And then once in a while, he'll get the occasional big victory. And this kind of felt like the same formula today. I think in the end, this might run the same formula as Shelton Benjamin. Shelton got the first win on Cedric, and then Cedric got the next two. So Jeff Hardy got the first win here. Something tells me Cedric gets the next two. So in the end, Cedric will be on top, but you give Jeff Hardy the win, which I think is fair. Jeff Hardy could still do it a little bit.
Sure.
And he's getting a win should not feel like that much of a surprise. When it's portrayed that shocking win, totally unexpected, there's a problem. You know what I mean? Like Jeff Hardy should never be classified as, look, if he beats a Bobby Lashley or Drew McIntyre or, like someone higher in the food chain, that's different. But beating Cedric and making it sound like that's a huge upset, I don't like that. Greg in Brooklyn, that's a good one. Kurt Hennig, God rest his soul, before WWF let him go the last time around, felt like the same thing. Helping to bring the younger guys, but get the occasional big win once in a while. Sure. Nikki Cross and Asuka, as we said earlier, beat Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. Charlotte seemed very disinterested in the match. This is just to build tension with Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. I know a lot of people were happy that Asuka got a win today, but it doesn't feel like there's any momentum going on with Asuka either. This is all designed as props to intensify the feud between Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. Nothing more and nothing less. You agree?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
Mansoor, little tutelage advice from Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, he looked good at it.
What do you think about that? With Ali kind of like trying to educate Mansoor of, to watch your back at all times.
So much better of a gimmick for him to be standing around in a suit and tie and blowing smoke up people's asses. That's what Mustafa Ali should be doing. He fits this a lot more than leader of Retribution, okay? That was such a fail for the guy. But he seems like a snarky dude. He seems like a kind of like a sleazeball. And so the fact that he's sitting there trying to talk to Mansoor, trying to sway him over, just seems like what a guy like Mustafa Ali should be doing.
Selling snake oil.
Pretty much, yeah.
Greg in Brooklyn, I know that was your joke to Ken, but you'd be surprised. Kurt Hennig's last WWE run, not TNA, WWE run, you'd be surprised how much that kind of echoed what Jeff Hardy is doing now. Kurt Hennig, when he came back for that last run, he was still in shape, and it just felt like they never gave him enough momentum. Like he would get an occasional big win here and there, but for the most part, he was there to help elevate some of the young stars of tomorrow. It's actually a pretty good comparison. So Ali is trying to educate Mansoor. What are you going to do when Drew Gulak does this? What are you going to do when he pulls your tights? What are you going to do if this? And Gulak was doing a little bit extra cheating tonight, but Mansoor with the fruit roll-up. No pull of the tights, clean win, beats Drew Gulak to show that he doesn't need to cheat to win. Not for nothing, this kind of reminds me of when Ali was trying to get Ricochet to join his group. Ali, when are you going to understand? When are you going to get some sense? It just feels like Mansoor is what they were doing with Ricochet at that time.
Fair enough. I can see that.
Yeah, just with a better gimmick, because the Retribution thing was not very good. And then after the Battle Royal we had earlier, they announced tonight we were going to have a match between Riddle and Kofi Kingston. What do you think about Randy Orton, going along so deep into, oh, thank you, Randy. Now I could,
Oh, I don't know. I think it's an interesting dynamic between the two. I don't know. I kind of enjoy it. I kind of enjoy the fact that he's the mentor. I mean, for the longest time, he was pretty much the next in line of the cerebral assassin. He was the Viper. He's all about mind games. He's all about fucking with people. I would not be surprised that in the future, when this is either going to take off, which obviously the merchandise is kind of a proof that it is going to take off, even though we're not supposed to be able to recognize that, but we do. We realize that if WWE is putting out money in merchandise, they plan on going with this for a minute. But just the blow-off, the final moments to this, you know it's going to be Randy Orton fucking with Riddle.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that that's going to be the fall. And I mean, we're talking months down the road, but you can already see it, where Riddle is going to become disenfranchised with what Randy Orton does. And Randy Orton, as their relationship grows and their tag team grows, Randy Orton might go further and further into being a heel, and Matt Riddle become disenfranchised with it and pull away, or it might be the other way around. Matt Riddle thinks that Randy Orton is something that he isn't, and Matt Riddle goes full heel, and Randy Orton pulls away. But
I could both be heel.
Yeah, but then that wouldn't make sense. That's not a good story, because then you want somebody to be the right one. In that,
right. Eventually somebody's got to turn. And Randy Orton eventually's got to turn on Riddle. Can't be the other way around.
fantasy.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. Look, man.
I'm sorry.
I want to see Riddle and Orton as tag team champions. You know, it's not the same dynamic. I brought this up once before. It's not the same dynamic, but I really, 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 really wanted to see Riddle and Pete Dunne's run go so much further, and COVID killed it. I mean, COVID killed their run. And, you know, I know some of the segments were kind of goofy at that time, but I saw so much potential in Pete Dunne and Riddle, so opposite with each other. So we're getting that in the sense of Riddle and Randy Orton. But I tell you, you know, when people out there hear that, I think Jim Ross said that Randy Orton is the best wrestler in the world right now, and Kenny Omega fans got upset at that. I don't think anybody should get upset, whether it's Omega 1, Orton 2, or vice versa or something like that. I don't think it's really, you know, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's not like, you know, maybe Orton doesn't have 20, 30-minute matches, but
right.
He doesn't need to. So, Riddle takes on Kofi Kingston. And, you know, Kofi with, maybe you call it the surprise win, but I am with you that Kofi getting this win against Riddle tonight, it's not necessarily to intensify New Day versus Riddle and Randy Orton. I think this is more to keep Kofi on the winning side, because once Hell in a Cell goes down, and they did the contract signing tonight, and the stipulation, look, WrestleMania Backlash that night we talked about it was going to be Drew McIntyre and Lashley in Hell in a Cell. Not just the pay-per-view, but in the cell itself. But they also did the stipulation that I know a lot of you out there talked about, I think 2 weeks ago, and said there's got to be a stipulation. No more championship matches for Drew McIntyre after this, at least with Lashley. And they did that tonight. If Drew loses, he gets no more title shots as long as Lashley is champion. Which, you know, when you really think about it, it seems to me more and more that Lashley is going to retain at Hell in a Cell. But I like that they added that to it. Now, the women tonight, you know, I thought it was funny when Drew took the sword and broke the table in half. You got to pay attention to the women's reactions in the back of Lashley. It was pretty priceless. One girl was just like, but she did like 20 times because the camera was on them for so long. She just kept like,
Right.
But what'd you think of the contract signing tonight?
It was goofy. I mean, it started off with Drew premeditating exactly what would happen, and it kind of turned out that way. And it was a contract signing. You know, I didn't think too much of it, but
I tell you, I know we brought this up last week, but I think it's worth saying it again. Wouldn't that be something with live fans returning that WWE decided, okay, now with live fans back, now we're putting the belt on Drew again? Wouldn't that be something?
You know what? I wouldn't put it past them. Like, all of this stuff that they're building with Bobby Lashley and MVP, all of the stuff with the Hurt Business, you know, breaking up and where that was left, and the fact that MVP is going after another person in a way like Kofi Kingston, I'm not sure. Tonight almost sounded like he was showing Kofi respect, but at the same time he could have been recruiting him. And I was like, wow, that would be an interesting heel turn if Kofi turned heel and joined up with MVP and Bobby Lashley.
I don't see
But they could throw that all away. They could. Oh, of course not. But I'm just saying, like, they could throw that all away because they're going to put the belt back on Drew. Like, that would not surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me in the least that they can build up something that's engaging and unique and different and doing something with people that aren't usually on TV, that aren't usually the guys in the main event. And you can do something with a compelling storyline, or you can just go back to Drew. And I think that if WWE just went back to Drew, it wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Why would Lashley want to face Kofi? I mean, I understand revenge for losing, but suspension of disbelief. Kofi is a former champion.
MVP.
Why would MVP want that?
Well, no. Here, well, because of tonight. Because tonight, MVP revealed that he respects Kofi.
Right.
What if Bobby Lashley doesn't like the fact that MVP respects Kofi? What if that irritates him? What if the person that's supposed to be completely in Bobby Lashley's corner, talking to Kofi and talking about how much he respects him, pisses him the fuck off? Because I could see it. A guy like Bobby Lashley, who's living larger than life, got extra ladies, got the money, got the $1 million manager. All of a sudden, there's a kink in his armor. The guy that he's supposed to trust, now he doesn't trust him. Now he thinks he's playing favorites. Now he thinks he might backstab him. Like, you can go through all this. Bobby Lashley, at the end of the day, is still supposed to be a savage, right? If he's supposed to be a knee-jerk reaction guy, how the fuck would you react if your best friend started talking with the enemy?
Why not just make it simpler that MVP wants Kofi to join up with Lashley, and it's kind of revealed, whether it's Xavier or someone else, it's revealed that the only reason why MVP wants Kofi to join up with Lashley is so Kofi does not challenge Lashley, and then Kofi refuses to join up with them. And then, as a result, Lashley attacks Kofi, and then that just leads to the match.
I mean,
Sometimes
you can do it that way too.
Yeah, sometimes you want to align yourself with an enemy so you don't have to face that enemy. You know what I mean?
Right, because you pacify them instead of having to defeat them. No,
Right.
I get that too. But then that would work as well, because then what do you mean? You don't think I can beat Kofi? And then MVP says no. And then Bobby Lashley loses his shit and goes and kills Kofi.
I could see that, sure.
I could see both.
Yeah.
I could see him being pissed off that his best friend is talking to the enemy, and I can see the fact that his best friend doesn't think he can beat the enemy. And in this case, Kofi's the enemy.
Put the two together.
Sure.
I'm noticing. We got a lot of people tuning in right now.
Yeah, man.
And very few of you haven't done this. We would greatly appreciate it if you enjoying the show, that you hit that thumbs up button. It actually helps us a lot more than you can imagine. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. We're getting close to 20,000. Mish, people have been giving me ideas how we're going to celebrate 20,000. And there is a guy, Steve, 1989, MRE. It was weird. I swear on my mother, it was weird. I was watching one of his videos Saturday night, and somebody posted on Discord a video of him eating old military food from 1945. I showed my fiance, I said, honey, look at the chat room right now. And she looked. She's like, how do they know you're watching this? I said, they don't know I'm watching this. So somebody came up with the idea that I should buy some old military food, like still in like the box from like 30 years ago, like unopened, send you half of it, and then we open it and eat it live on video.
No,
I don't think I would want to do that either.
No fucking dude, I will eat the hottest fucking peppers.
Yeah, I don't want to take a chance of botulism, you know?
I'll eat an entire bag of fucking ghost peppers. I'm not going to eat some 40-year-old corn. Yeah, botulism.
I will tell you one thing I would have. I will tell you one thing I would have. And I almost bid on this about 3 or 4 months ago, and I passed it up. I heard that military coffee, the Type 2 spray roasted coffee, even if it's 30, 40 years old, if it's sealed from the military, that coffee is supposed to be out of this world, like aged coffee. Yeah. That's the only thing I probably would seriously consider is drinking the coffee.
I tried old Pall Malls back in the day when my grandfather passed. He had like his belongings when he passed, and he had in a box Pall Malls that were already 30 years out of date because that's when he quit smoking. He saved his last pack.
You
and
smoked
so
it.
I remember. Yeah, I
That's
smoked
cool.
it. Oh, they were gross.
Really? I heard it.
Oh, they were disgusting.
Really?
They were.
I watched this guy, Steve. He like lights up like 80-year-old cigarettes. He's like, oh my God, these smell incredible. He lights it up. He's like, that's incredible.
Yeah,
he must be a fucking liar.
Yeah, he's crazy. I'm sorry. If you're eating food from the Franco-American War in 2021, there's something wrong with you.
Dude, he ate.
You know what I mean?
He
was eating MREs from 1896, which were nothing but meat and bone. And he actually
you saw that episode. It was cartilage. He was talking about, this piece of cartilage. Oh.
It was from 1896, and he's eating it today. It's like, how insane are you to not only eat meat that's over 100 years out of date, but to recook it? And I don't know. I don't know kudos to he ate what is it called? StarTac? Or what is it called? Meal tack? He ate corn tack or meal tack from the Civil War, DT. From the Civil fucking War. He put something from the Civil War in his mouth and tried to eat it.
I watched the other day.
He's a little crazy, dude.
He opened up a pack of chocolate, and I watched a little worm like pop on the table and stuff. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we already talked about this to open up the show, so we really don't need to get into it again. It was what it was. If we're going to take calls, if we're going to take calls, I got to go run and grab the phone really quick. It'll only take me about 15, 20 seconds. But 3 requests. Number 1, you call in, just get to the point as quickly as you can. I mean, obviously, last week was the first time we're taking calls in about 12, 13 years. And I know some calls went 6, 7, 12 minutes long. We're going to do about 15 minutes worth of calls tonight just to get some calls in. You know, if you really got something on your mind to talk about Raw or anything, but just to the point, that's all we ask. And also, right now, we're at 77 likes. I'm going to go in that room, go grab the phone.
Go grab that phone.
When I sit my ass down, and I got boxers on, but they look like regular shorts, so I don't think the camera's that low. But when I come back, it would be pretty cool if those likes enter the 3 digits. And I'm only going to be gone for 20, 30 seconds, so why don't you plug Thursday night while I go get my phone?
I mean, I guess I could do that. I could plug Thursday night.
Okay.
Or I could see if I could play audio and you hear it.
snuck my latest favorite thing, Spindrift. These are like sparkling waters with a little tiny drop of actual fruit juice in them. So this one has like a little bit of lemon juice in it. It's actually pretty good. It's actually safe for the Dynamite. We're not at 3 digits yet, so we're not going to start taking calls till we hit 3 digits. There was a guy who actually works.
Yes, we are. There's no. When do you want to end the show?
There's a guy at vidIQ that actually has like gave me some advice in the past, and he told me like 2 or 3 months ago. He's like, dude, he's like, you got hundreds of people that tune in throughout the night. He says, if you stop and you tell them, you know, if they're enjoying the show, just take a second and hit that thumbs up. He's like, that's why I understand now why some people who tune in live throughout the show, they'll say it for me. They're like, everyone, smash that thumbs up, smash that thumbs up. So it helps more than you could all imagine. So I'm still new with a lot of this stuff, but let's see. I'm setting everything up, everyone. Hold on. I think we are good. Oh, let me take the ringer off so we don't have ringer stuff going on.
Yeah, you guys have 6 minutes to call in, guys. Come on.
Yeah, why is this not? Hold on. All right, hold on a second. Hold on. I'm just taking the ringer off. There we go. Yeah, that's good. I should have set this up before. You know, that's what happens. I'm not used to taking calls yet. So the last couple of times I had everything all prepared and ready to go. So if you want to call in, all right, I think we are ready. Let me do this. Let's merge this over here. Mish will be back in 2 seconds.
Sure.
That is the number if you want to call. I didn't lift the Do Not Disturb yet. Like to have a couple of more likes pop up over there. I know I'm kind of like messed up for doing that, but...
Come on, we're at 91, guys. 6 more minutes or the show goes off the air. Keep us around. Get us to 100.
If we hit 100, we'll go... Well, no, we're at 1 hour and 46, so we would go at least 13 more minutes. If we get to 110, we'll stay for another 10 minutes.
I'm just working the crowd, DT. Come on.
I know. You know what? Let's do it. All right, let's take. Oh, you know what? I gotta try some typing over here too. So.
All right.
So let's remove it. Let's see what happens. 225 Don Tony or 833-366-8686, which is Don. Oh. Why is this ringer not working? Hey, you're on. Who's this? Okay, I think that might have been me. That actually might have been me. I think I know what the... All right, so now we should be good. All right, let's try it again. Let's see what happens. 225 Don Tony, 833-366-8686. You know, again, my apologies. Jason is like, this is so sad. First of all, we haven't taken calls in 12 years. Second of all, I didn't have anything set up today, you know, and a lot of those fellow podcasters out there, none of them seem to want to help as far as like software and tips and setup and this and that. So we actually got to go on the fly. So we'll see what happens. But, hey, you're on. Who's this?
Brandon.
What's up?
Everything going good. How you doing?
Pretty good. What's on your mind?
Okay, so I want to know this AEW Rampage supposed to premiere in August. How's that going to turn out?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you this much. And by the way, thank you very much for the call. I don't know why I'm getting like the sound alerts on here. I got to be prepared next time to disable the sound alerts. But So my apologies there, everybody. Rampage, honestly, Rampage is going to be in the same time slot pretty much of what we're getting right now. So if Rampage gets 400,000 viewers, I think that would be considered a success for AEW. What do you think?
Sure. Anything that Rampage can bring to the ratings has got to be good. I mean, you don't want you can't get, what is it, 4.62s all the time, right, DT?
Yeah, 462, not a good number. Definitely
it was
not
a great
good
number in 1999. It was a fantastic number.
Look, I bring up still ECW when it was on TNN. They did 1.1 million, and that wasn't even good enough for them to stay on the network. So
right.
I think, look, Rampage is going to be, to me, like a Sunday Night Heat. The interesting thing about Rampage is it's right in the middle between Dynamite from the week before and Dynamite for the week after. Because you're 2 days after Dynamite, so you can build something that maybe you didn't get a chance to do on Dynamite, or you could hype something up to lead into the following Dynamite. You know, the YouTube stuff to me has to be almost like the NXT for them. Like the wrestlers that are not ready for prime time, those are the ones that stay on YouTube for the most part. The ones that maybe can't make Dynamite this week, you get them on Rampage. You know, because not everybody is on the shows every week. So you can't get Ray Phoenix on for this week, you put him on Rampage. You know, you can't get Luchasaurus on the show, you put him on Rampage. I think this is a way, I think Rampage should complement Dynamite.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be its own separate, you know, identity in any way, shape, or form, but
I agree with you on that, but I have a feeling that they're going to make it two separate identities. I just have that feeling.
Yeah. Look, it's still a little ways away. I mean, we're not going to see this until August, so we're at least 2 months away. I think personally, these last 2 weeks are eye-opening for them. And I think once fans are used to AEW being on a late Friday night, I think you'll see the numbers go up a little bit. But, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of cards they put out on Rampage. But, hey, you're on. Who's this?
Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, it's Elizabeth.
Hey, Elizabeth. Hey, nice talking to you the other day.
Yeah, hey, my phone did cut out when you went Mitch. I couldn't hear what he said at all. I had to go back and watch it to hear what he said.
Yeah, we were talking just about Rampage, that, you know, it's still 2 months away, and, you know, maybe once fans get used to AEW on late Friday nights, that this might be a little bit more, you know, as far as in the ratings department. I mean, when I used to watch ECW at 2 a.m. on the Prime Network, I mean, the ratings even in New York were surprisingly bigger as it, you know, went along. But early on, it was a hard time to get people to want to watch ECW at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I was watching Elevation earlier, and Hikaru Shida's cut her hair off.
Yeah, I did see
and
that.
She has, well,
What do you think of it?
I liked it.
I liked it.
And she has to wear the robe out. And you want to talk about a botch. I was watching Chris Statlander match. She slipped on her opponent's hair and almost fell on her on the finisher.
I like Chris Statlander. Obviously, the more she wrestles, the more, you know, she'll improve. But, you know, it's just, I think the problem with a lot of these wrestlers is, you know, they're on the indies. You get away with a lot of, you know, sloppiness or misspot here and there. When you're on now the second biggest promotion, you're under a microscope. And everybody is looking for every little thing, you know, no matter what, you know, you come across on TV. They want to see every little spot. And with Chris Statlander, because of her inexperience, You know, I still remember before COVID when she like kicked into air and then she did a dive outside the ring and nobody was around her at all. You know, she's very well liked, but you know, things like this is gonna, you know, just set her back. I mean, I don't know. Mish, what do you think of Statlander?
She's all right. I think the gimmick's a kind of a trip. I do like the spacey gimmick that she's got going, but, you know, just like a lot of things, it's just got to keep going at it. Botches happen, you know, and you just keep going forward.
Yeah.
I like Sheeta's new look. It kind of like, you could see the clear moment where she's no longer champion. So every match that she has with the short hair, you know it took place after she lost the title. It's a refreshing look for her. And yeah, I don't know why people were complaining about it tonight.
What?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, I identify kind of. But yeah, she posted on Twitter a picture of a clump of hair. I looked at it. I'm like, did she cut her hair?
Yeah.
And then it said restart.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole new chapter now.
Yeah. See, I don't know if I like the whole restart thing because she lost one match. You know what I mean? She's still one of the top women in AEW, and her playing off like she's got to start all the way at the bottom again, you know, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. But, hey, the new look is a little refreshing. I think people out there should lighten up a little bit. You know, she's still Sheeta, so she could still go.
Oh, yeah, and Dolph's brother, boy, he's really putting on the arrogant act like his brother.
Yeah.
He's even got blonde hair now.
Yeah, they're high on Nick Nemeth. They're high on him.
Yeah.
Or Ryan Nemeth.
Yeah, I got confused one week.
Yeah.
They called me by the wrong name.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm always mixing up their names, but I know I like him. I mean, you know, when he first debuted in AEW, I think they hyped him up a little bit too much. I mean, he's nowhere near the level of Dolph Ziggler, but, you know, I mean, he is an undiscovered talent as far as mainstream wrestling goes. I mean, I know a lot of fans were aware of him, but now they're getting to see him, and he's developing his persona as he goes along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he may eventually veer away from that.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see what happens, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll let you go and talk to someone else.
Yeah, I thank you for calling in, Liz.
Uh-huh.
All right, have a good one, Elizabeth.
You too.
Take care. I don't know why we're getting that little disconnected sound effect, but like I said, I wasn't prepared tonight. I was so consumed by the Alexa Bliss. I drank this a little bit too fast. It went down the wrong pipe. So if people notice, I keep muting the mic because I think it's a little disrespectful for me to be coughing in the mic. But, yeah, it's kind of like burning the shit out of me right now. But it's all good. It's all good. Hey, you're on. Who's this?
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, AT, pleasure to talk to you, my friend. Mish, how are you?
How's it going, man?
Good, man. I just want to kind of make a quick comment, kind of keep it to Raw tonight. Shayna Baszler and Alexa Bliss, I apologize. I joined the show late. I know what you guys said. This is the second time that WWE is taking a badass and made him look like to be, play that scare role. Shayna Baszler looks so uncomfortable tonight doing that with the backstage stuff, and, you know, her facial expressions aren't the greatest. I mean, this is a legit badass woman that can kick my ass, and go a man's ass. And you know, first it was Asuka, another badass, and they made her scared of Alexa Bliss, and now it's Shayna Baszler. Like, if this was Nikki Cross, I'd say, okay, you know what, I might buy it. You know, you have a built-in storyline there. Why did they pick these women that are legitimate, you know, badass women that, you know, can fight for real and make them? I feel like it's another test for Vince to kind of, you know, get his rocks off and see if Shayna Baszler can do the entertainment side of pro wrestling. And I just kind of wanted your thoughts on that, DT and Mish.
Mish, you take it, because I kind of agree with everything he said. I don't mind the storylines with Alexa, and I don't mind the doll stuff either, but you know, they did this with Asuka, and everybody hated it. And this almost feels like this is intended to put like some acting ability on Shayna Baszler that, hey, she might be able to be in one of these low-budget horror films where she's the bully that is bullying the other people in the cabin, and then Jason slices her throat anyway. You know what I mean? Like, she comes across as that one bitch, that one asshole, because that's what the Jason movies used to be. You have people in the cabin, you got the stereotypical couples and everything, and you got one person that acts like a total asshole. And then that's the person that you want to see, like, the murderer actually kill. That's what it feels like. It feels like Shayna Baszler is trying to, like, build her resume for outside acting roles. I don't know.
No, I don't see that at all. I think the reason that they sacrificed Asuka to Bliss, and now they're sacrificing Shayna Baszler to Bliss, is to make Bliss more credible. Bliss has no credibility in the ring. Bliss on her own, I mean, if you remember before the whole Wyatt stuff and the Lily stuff, she was barely competent in the ring. Her gimmick was barely passable. People liked the way she looked, but they gave her no credence as far as being a badass or anything else like that. So what would WWE do in order to solidify Bliss as a potential threat? Well, now you use gimmicks, you use a doll, you use superstitions, you use pyrotechnics, you use all these little gimmicks in order to make Bliss seem like a credible threat. And that's also sacrificing Asuka and now sacrificing Shayna. It's supposed to be an entertaining storyline, and I don't think it has any title hunt in the future. I don't see Alexa Bliss going for a title on any level. I don't see her going for the tag team titles. But at that same scenario, they're going to try and make Bliss look like her ace in the hole is the superstitious doll and everything that it means in order to beat her opponents.
Right.
I don't think you're going to see Bliss win matches anymore. When Bliss steps into the ring, you're not going to see Alexa Bliss, the amazing women's athlete. You're going to see Alexa Bliss freak show with supernatural powers. That's what you're going to see.
And Nia Jax may be next. You know, Reginald got it, and Shayna got it, and I think Nia is next to get it from Alexa.
You know, just to piggyback off what Mish was saying, you know, you can get away with that with no fans in the, but we're headed towards the fans again. So that, you know, it was pretty cool to get the camera cut with Shayna Baszler stepping on the doll and doing all that stuff. But you're not going to be able to pull that off on a live crowd. So
you're right.
With Alexa not taking a bump since Royal Rumble, basically when she got thrown out, I haven't seen her take a bump since. You know, where do you really go with this? Like, I just don't get it. Why bury a legitimate badass that can, you know, like I said, kick anybody's ass and throw her to the wolves instead of someone like a Nikki Cross or, you know,
well, Shayna Baszler has a lot more credibility, doesn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, you just said it yourself. If Nikki Cross got sacrificed, who the fuck cares? But the fact that you're going to sacrifice Shayna Baszler, that means something. Yeah. And you're right. We're going back to audiences really soon. So WWE needs to get everybody underneath Bliss's thumb in order to make her credible down the road.
Yeah, no, you guys are absolutely right. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I'll let you guys go and take another call.
Thank you for calling in. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your service.
Thanks, brother.
Take care, my friend. Yeah, I don't know where those sound. You hear that sound effect like when the call ends, right? I don't know what the hell I did. But, hey, you're on. Who's this?
Yes, hello. Don?
Yes, we're here.
Hey, how you doing, Don? Hey, how you doing, Miss?
Hey.
Just wanted not much. I know you guys got a lot of questions with the Alexa Bliss and everything, but I just wanted to piggyback off the last caller.
Sure.
Do you think that they're we know that they're doing this to make her seem to be credible in the ring, but how much is that going to affect the other wrestlers? Like if you have someone like Raquel Gonzalez come up from NXT, for example, but she's down at NXT putting girls through walls and plexiglass, and I know wrestling's supposed to be suspension of disbelief, but there's no way you can tell me that this girl, no matter how much of a credible athlete she is, can take out someone like Raquel Gonzalez or Rhea Ripley, and that WWE knows this and that they're going to keep doing all this hocus pocus stuff. But like, how long can WWE get away with that once the live crowd comes? And how far can they take this with her?
You almost feel like they may try to do some type of exorcism. I know that sounds really deep. But I can imagine, because something's got to happen for Alexa Bliss to lose these powers. I mean, especially, look, when you have live fans back, you know, the one thing, I mean, what you said is on point, but what Mish said is also on point. You could pre-record everything that goes on in the back. So the minute Shayna Baszler runs to the back, you know, the live crowd no longer sees Shayna Baszler there, but then the Titantron comes on, because we used to have that back in the day. Austin in the back room, and he gets run over by Rikishi, and, you know, this person gets this. And that. So you can have backstage segments. The only thing is, it's going to get to a point where Alexa Bliss can't be Mama Shango out there. You know, it's going to get to a point where she's got to lose these powers. And the question is, how does she lose it? And you almost think like there's got to be some wacky, weird, like, I think WWE has planted themselves in a corner that they really don't know how to get out of. Because look at The Fiend. Their way out of The Fiend was to set a body on fire. You know what I mean?
Well, as far as, you know, the Alexa Bliss storyline and where she's going to end up with people like Rhea or Gonzalez and stuff like that, you're saying how long can they go with the live audience? Dude, they can go as long as they want, as long as they don't put them up against each other. You know what I mean? WWE can tap dance around those two people right there for as long as they want. And I agree with you. When they start putting people, like, two different sides of the same coin, like WWE wants to push Bliss, but they also want to make Rhea look good. They also want to make Gonzalez look good. So what are they going to do when they put two of their favorites up against each other? It's at that point that, you know, you realize that Bliss is going to probably reel it back in. I don't think that the supernatural stuff is going to keep going once the live audience gets there. Sure, there's going to be pre-recorded segments, and there's going to be some zaniness with pyrotechnics. But overall, when it comes down to the ring stuff, I don't think people are going to believe that, oh, Alexa Bliss is going to beat Rhea, you know, easily in the ring. Like, it's not going to happen that way.
I think whoever destroys that doll will be the end of the voodoo stuff.
Yeah.
Or do you even think that they could make her be like a joke character? Like, she'll just wind up being like a joke.
That would be fun.
That's what I kind of think she is now. I think she is kind of the gag supernatural character. I mean, she's got her own little Firefly fun house. She's kind of stolen Bray's gimmick. You know, they did wacky stuff with her and Orton and Bray. Like, honestly, she's kind of become the joke character. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't see her with a title, dude. I just don't.
What was that wrestler in the 90s that WWF had? Phantasma? What was the guy's name?
Phantasma the Magician?
Yeah.
Yes.
When, like, didn't he have, like, was it Louis Spicolli? Or no, I know, it was DeVito the Baldies. He faced DeVito on Raw, I think it was. And then, or it might have been Superstars. And Phantasma did something. And then the next thing you know, he pulled out, like, 20 boxer shorts or pulled out his boxers or something. Alexa Bliss could turn into Phantasma. She could start doing goofy stuff. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's like she totally would be like how they turn Doink good. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's going to do her voodoo for good. I want to be good. Well, I can't fault Alexa for working hard at her character because she's acing it. I think just the writing, you know, is left to be desired a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
I think she's great. I think she's, you know, one of the performers that, you know, yes, she's not great in the ring, but she definitely has a lot of charisma. Yeah. But I just I'm just curious to see where it's going to go, especially with, you know, Vince McMahon, because Vince tends to fall back to what he knows. And now he's going back to the whole larger than life big men and like, I kind of feel like the era of the smaller guys is over, you know, for them. They had a good run, but it's now the big guys are on the rise. Now, like, I would be very surprised if, like, someone like Adam Cole even resigns once his contract's up.
Well, we'll see what happens, you know. I mean, live fans, look, we're already approaching the second week of June. So we're only about a month away. Once those live fans are back, that's it. It's like what Nick Khan said 2 months ago. Once we're back to live crowds, there's no turning back. And, you know, this virus, you know, there's not going to be, you know, a second wave. I mean, unless another virus comes out that, you know, we're not aware of. But
knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. But we'll see what happens, you know?
Yeah.
All right, my friend.
Thanks for
Have a
calling,
good
man.
night. All the best. Thank you for calling in. So, if you want, we'll take one more. Then we'll call it a night, everyone. I think we've gone 2:10, you know, which, you know, last week we went almost 3, and I know last Wednesday we went 3+, so, you know, ended a little bit earlier tonight. I will be better prepared next time with the phone and the software. I think I figured out why you were getting like some of those sound effects. If you notice, you didn't hear it this time around. But so if we will get one more caller in here, we got either 833-366-8686, which is toll free, or you could call 225-366-8669, which is 225 Don Tony. I just removed the do not disturb, and hopefully we won't get any
disturb us.
This is not easy, man. It's you know what I realized? I got to use the tablet for this. This way, everything is just touch screen, and I could just have it on the screen. I could even control it with the mouse. But you know, and I got to do something.
I did it for 7 years.
God bless you, man. I mean, back
man.
then, I mean, what program did we used to use?
Skype.
Did we use Skype really for that? I don't remember Skype with the
number.
calls.
Yep, Skype number.
Well, hey, you're on. Who's this?
Hey, Don Tony. This is JD in Pittsburgh. Big fan of your show. I always listen to your show. Big ups to your show.
Hey, what's going on? Thank you very much for the kind words.
No problem. I got to ask, Howard. I mean, we see this every week, Howard, but why do we have to put up with Charlotte the cunt every week, just kowtowing to management, saying, oh, I'm the greatest thing ever. I'm the greatest thing ever as women's champion. I mean, she continues to bury the women's division every chance she gets. I mean, it's time to give young other people like Rhea Ripley, like Asuka, all these people a chance, and yet she continues to just slap them across the face because of her power play ego, however. What do you think of that?
Mish?
No, you can take that one, DT. That's all you got.
I'll be more than happy to. This is the thing. You know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful here, but Jimmy Snuka, one of my favorites growing up, bar none. Paid a little tribute to him tonight at the beginning of the show. Most likely, criminally negligent homicide might be the right way to call it. So there's only so much Tamina could use as far as the Snuka name goes. Natty, daughter of Jimmy Anvil. Jimmy Anvil, Hall of Famer, awesome back in the day. Wouldn't put him on the upper echelon as far as singles wrestlers, as far as royalty. Ric Flair is royalty. Forget his personal issues and everything else. Ric Flair is, without question, one of the greatest of all time. So now you have a daughter of one of the greatest to ever put on the boots. Absolutely respected the business. You know, if you watch the Foley A&E, you know Ric Flair absolutely loved Mick Foley, but though Mick Foley was an absolute buffoon for doing the hardcore stuff. My point is, back in the day, Vince McMahon thought David Sammartino could be something, and it was abysmal. Other promotions thought King Kong Mosca's son could become something special, and he was ridiculously bad. I remember WWF trying to push Scott Putski in the mid-'90s, and it didn't go all that well.
Iron Man, Polish crippler.
There's been very, very few top legends of yesteryear who ended up having a son or a daughter become a major, major star. You know, obviously Brett and The Rock and others, but as far as the female side, Charlotte is so rare when you think of women's wrestling over the years, and somebody who, you know, arguably is almost at the top of her game as far as ability-wise, as her father did. Ric Flair dominated the 80s, and nobody felt that Ric Flair didn't earn it. People got upset because it was always focused, but Ric Flair backed it up in the ring. Charlotte is such a rare talent because she is on the women's side. And to have that lineage, it's almost like she has to be the Flair of the women's division. Otherwise, it's a failure. And for a while, they tried to remove the Flair name from her, and just I don't want to be based on my father. I'm Charlotte. I'm not a Flair. Then they realized, okay, she's at the top of her game. So people, you know, I'll say like this in closing. Back in the 80s, you know, a lot of people wanted to see Ric Flair get his ass kicked. By around 83, 84, 85, you started to see a lot of fans bring signs for Ric Flair, and they got into him being a badass. Charlotte is almost what Ric Flair was back around 83, 84, maybe 80, 85, where you know she's got top-tier ability. You know she is top-tier on the mic. You know that she is classy. She presents herself classy. She takes care of herself. And she, you would think, in her mind, believes that she's actually a queen. So when you back it up, that's the ultimate trolling you give to people. I mean, when you see heels, you want to see them get their ass kicked. But when you got someone who is that good and we want to see them get their ass kicked and they don't get their ass kicked, it gets us upset even more. WWE notices that, they build on that, and they know they got a rare, rare, rare gem. I'm a big Charlotte fan. I agree that it gets frustrating at times to see her get thrown right back in the mix. But, you know, I understand why WWE does it. And when someone else does beat her, it should feel tremendously important. There's going to become a point where people are going to get a little bit of sick of Roman Reigns' push the way it is. It's going to be a point where people are going to be like, all right. Okay, all right. And it's not going to change. WWE realizes there's money over there. So that's my interpretation of it.
No, you're right, but at the same time, I mean, how many times, like you said, I mean, like I said, how many times does Charlotte have to go up to management with Bruce and Dunn and then say, give me, Howard. I'm not going to be burying the women's division. And she does it in dirt sheets and interviews. How it's just, oh, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. We know that, so because you blow management's balls off literally every chance you get, and you always stick it to them. I mean, take last year, for instance, Howard, with Rhea Ripley, okay? They were ready to give Rhea Ripley the win at WrestleMania, Howard, originally before COVID hit, Howard. And then all of a sudden, at the last minute, Charlotte had to play her Hulk Hogan card, because that's what she's famous for. Every chance she gets her, oh, look at me. I'm the Carrillo de Vil, Howard. I should be a blonde Barbie doll. I'm so fake with my tits and everything. Give me a break. She's a backstabbing little weasel. She buries everyone she champions, and when they come up to the main roster, she just basically makes them look like a joke.
Look, I hear what you're saying. I'll say it like this. I think we should. No. That frustration. Thousands, tens of thousands of people have that frustration. What I would say is I would get angry at WWE for going along with it. Because, you know, WWE, it took a little bit of you-know-whats to keep her off of Mania. You know, it took a little set on WWE's part. But at the same time, though, WWE keeps going right back into the same thing, right back to it. So I blame WWE more than anything else. if WWE didn't put her in this position, maybe it wouldn't get to this point. But WWE is more than willing. They're like, hey, no problem. They're like there with open arms. You could almost feel it in the back. I don't know. I think deep down inside, I think a lot of women in WWE absolutely respect Charlotte Flair for her ability. But I think deep down inside, there's a little bit of animosity. Like, man, even when she takes a shit, we got to give her like gold-plated toilet paper. You know what I mean? I think there's a little bit of resentment there, but she backs it up. So it's a hard argument. You know what I mean? If she was just like shit in the ring, then I could see it, but she backs it up. But I think Rhea Ripley's going to beat her, though. I think Rhea Ripley will retain at Hell in the Cell.
Yeah. Let me get you out on this.
Mish loves the hate on Charlotte, by the way.
Yeah. Let me get you out on this, though, guys. Like I said, I enjoy the shows and everything. Keep up the good work. Let me get you out on this, though. With all the releases that WWE has done lately, does Vince make any more cuts possibly this week? Do we see some more cuts coming, like a Ricochet, like a Cedric Alexander, like a Jeff Hardy possibly? Do you think there's more cuts coming with the way things are going right now?
I personally think, Mish, I'll say it quick.
Sure.
I kind of touched on this last week. If you look at the business wire about wrestling, none of them are talking about a sale. So until the business world talks about it, just take it with a grain of salt. But if WWE is streamlining their company to have even bigger numbers, because unfortunately for billionaires, there's never enough money to be made, I think we're in a new era right now where every couple of weeks they could very well release one or two people. Especially with the COVID, I put it this way, I don't think we're going to see a tremendous, a large number of releases in the near future. But I think once they go back on the road and they see how many people are showing up at the shows and they see how many people they have on the lineups. Right now they're just doing super shows. But soon enough, they're going to have a Raw branded house show and a SmackDown branded house show. Right now they're combining the two. I think some of the people who have been released last year and this year, I think by January, some of them have a job back. But I think right now, you may hear a release here and there, but I think right now they're preparing themselves to go on the road. They know who's going to go on the road with them. And I think once that starts happening, then they could determine, okay, we need to fill this, or no, we really could get rid of this. Or look, I'll give you one more quick one. NXT.
I think.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say NXT is going to be doing some house shows for the people who can't even make NXT TV.
Well, NXT is probably going to be the next ones to do a little bit of house cleaning themselves. I mean, the scuttlebutt around the actual releases is that there's still NXT people to go so that people from the Performance Center can graduate up. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is one more series or sets of cuts. And you'll start to see some of the NXT talent that has been stagnating for a while that's not going to go to the main roster or not going to go to 205 Live or not going to go anywhere else, kind of leave the company. And at the same time, you do bring up a good point. This is the perfect time with all of these releases, this is a perfect time for WWE to pick people back up. Like, yoked to the fucking gills, JTG. I don't know if you've watched the NWA pay-per-view last night, but JTG debuted last night, and I swear, he's always been big. He's been big for a while, I know that. But he looked WWE ready. He looked ready for a push, like a main event push in AEW. He looks big. He had a great match with Fred Rosser, as people know as Make Darren Young Great Again. They had a great match in NWA last night. But, I mean, this would be a perfect opportunity for WWE to start looking at other people like with Carlos Colon, right? Carlito. You know, there's another guy, yoked to the gills, looks great. Why isn't he back in WWE? You know, there's a lot of people, and I understand that there's some, like, there might be bad blood or there might have been a bad situation, but, you know, time heals all wounds. These guys have a better look. They have a nostalgia presence already for the fans that are here today. You know, there's a lot of little guys that are bouncing around the indies that aren't working in AEW that WWE could absolutely pick up, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. Well, my friend, I thank you very much for calling in. You be well. All the best. And before we go, we got one super chat from SRH John 07. Will Walter tie Bruno's record or get close? Bruno who?
San Martino?
Bruno had the title for years and years and years.
Yeah, geez, you have to get to Bob Backlund first.
Yeah, I was gonna say Backlund, I think, is a possibility. Backlund held it from 78 to 84. And Backlund had a pretty damn good run. I think he's got to pass Asuka's run.
Right.
You know, he's been, almost 2 years now, it's got to be. So, wow, I don't know about the Backlund run. What about the CM Punk? Well, no, he's past CM Punk. He's past CM Punk.
What was CM Punk? 414,
434.
Right? 462?
I thought it was 434.
No, that was the ratings for AEW.
Yeah, Bruno had it for a long time, man. Backlund, wow. I tell you, you really think about it. When you think of Walter's reign, Walter would have to more than double the reign he's already had to even get the Backlunds. I don't know if he reaches that. I'm telling you, Walter is something special. Is sooner or later that guy's got to come to the States and stay for a while. So I would say no. I don't think Bruno will. I don't think Walter will make even the Backlund run. I think maybe 3 years tops. I don't see it going past that. I'd be shocked if it goes over 1,000 days.
I would too.
Yeah. Well, with that said, I know we stood a few extra minutes for calls, but this was awesome. Like I said, just bear with us for a couple of weeks as we get the software. I mean, there's other software out there I could use that coincides with like Google Voice and other things, but, I just have to really, test them out. It's not easy to test them out without people calling in, but, we'll get it as we go along. Wednesday night, I will take some calls. Without a doubt, we'll talk about NXT, anything that comes in for AEW. Thursday, we'll pretty much chat about anything. And then we'll be right back to Friday again. Yeah, Hogan held it for over 1,400 days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
good.
The days of going 1,000. I don't know. We'll see. But, Mish, my friend, thank you as always for tuning in with me. The show would suck if you weren't on it, obviously, with me. But
no, kidding me.
Have a great night, my friend.
Thank you, everybody. Much love.
And tomorrow is off the cuff. So tomorrow, unprepared. Maybe we'll look more at MySpace stuff.
Sure.
I got some screenshots to share with you. I got over the weekend, so.
Oh boy.
No, it'll be fun.
Take it easy, everybody.
That was
Thank
great
you,
last
DT.
week. So. Have a good night, my friend.
It was fun.
Take care. Guys. Everyone, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Got to I know I shout out La Nostra Familia a little earlier. Got to give a shout out to our other great YouTube channel subscribers. By the way, the Q&A, today was the cutoff as far as everybody's questions. I was going to record the Q&A early today, but I know 2 questions came in very late. So I'm going to do the Q&A probably Wednesday in the early afternoon. My plan right now, my parents are going to Florida Thursday for 10 days. So Wednesday morning, I'll be bringing the bird over here, and then I'll probably be home for most of Wednesday. So I'll be over here doing the Q&A for everybody. And that's pretty much it. So the schedule this week, so everybody knows, because, again, if you're not aware of it, AEW is preempted for another 3+ weeks. No Wednesday nights for AEW. So the schedule this week is going to be pretty much like it was last week. Tomorrow, for our Patreon family, Mish and I will be doing a breakfast soup off the cuff. That starts at 8 p.m. on the Discord channel for Patreon. Wednesday night, instead of the usual 10:05 p.m. slot, I will be up here 8 p.m. Wednesday night. We will do a recap of NXT. I will do predictions for In Your House, the NXT TakeOver, and we'll talk about a couple other random news tidbits. I want to talk a little NWA, maybe a little bit of Ring of Honor too, and Impact Wrestling, because remember, Impact Wrestling this weekend has their pay-per-view, Kenny Omega versus Moose. And I have a lot to say about that because I think it's time that AEW and Impact Wrestling start going their separate ways. It did not help Impact. Before Showbuzz going down, there was no excuse for all those sites to not give you the Impact rating for the last 3 weeks. I gave you 2 of those 3 weeks, and everybody had those ratings, and I honestly think they refused to tell you because Kenny Omega is the Impact champion, drew nothing. It drew nothing, and there's no signs that Impact's rating would have gone down further if AEW never showed up. Remember what I said when Kenny Omega showed up, I think it was in December. You look at Impact's ratings, there was no decline where they needed to stop the bleeding. Oh, Kenny Omega, AEW. There was nothing like that. They lost Tessa last year. They lost Taya Valkyrie. They lost Ethan Page. They lost a few other pieces of the... but still, their ratings, there was nothing like this. And Kenny Omega came, their ratings were like this. Kenny Omega came, had that little bump when he first came in, and it went right back down. It's almost like when, I don't want to say Impact's dead, but it's almost like when someone's dead and you hit the thing and it goes up like this and then it goes down like this. So anyway, it's a little disrespectful if I stay on here when Mish is not. So I am going to jet out of here. I want to thank you all again, as always, for tuning in. If you don't mind, one last time before you go, I greatly appreciate it if you smash that like button, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you later on this week. Post your feedback, questions, comments in the video section. You know I am interactive with everybody now, and once again, if you want to follow me on Twitter, at DonTonyD, I will reciprocate if you'd like it, and just no trolling. I'm not interested in the trolling or, we could complain about stuff, but, people looking to just complain simply for attention, I'm not interested in that. So, all right, everybody, much love as always. And do I get to do it again? Yes, I can. Very cool. I get to end the show like I've been doing it the last couple of times. So thank you, everyone. Good night, everybody.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's alright. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.